Umpires this afternoon, Vaso, Head and Keating. That was umpire Keating presiding over the coin toss. We're set to go. A couple of first gamers starting on the ground, if you don't mind. Let's go down to Ricky Olorenshaw. Some familiar faces missing as a result of that win.
Yeah, well, the medical staff at Port have been busy. Warren Treadray had shoulder surgery on Friday. Stephen Salopek's gone for the year with his Achilles. But Mitch Farmer will make his debut today. Boy from Craigieburn, good luck to him. Opening bounce, one down by King. Del Santo to Milne, starting up the ground, swings it down towards half forward, going back down there. Schneider missed it, pushing up the ground. Hand pass comes across from Hayes. Revolt pops one up to right half forward, fisted away by Cassisi.
Just a couple of matchups too. Nick Lowe has gone to Lenny Hayes. The umpires there, Todd Keating, Matthew Head and Michael Vaso, a couple of experienced players there. Kane Corn started on the wing, right beside the effervescent Stephen Milne.
Taken across the line is Cassisi. Or the boundary throw in.
Dempster's gone to Burgoyne, and McWalter, who gets a big job each week, has gone to Daniel Pearce. He'll keep him busy.
Holding on to him, slung him round. Dean Brogan's kick.
Dean Brogan, normally the bad guy, gets the free kick. Plays on. Burgoyne hesitates, comes back. Pettigrew's got the ball deep in his own defence, peeling off his Thurstons. Initially that's ignored. Pettigrew running it up towards centre half back. Now spots the error of his ways and goes to Thurstons. Thurstons drives it up towards the wing, coming on a hard lead. Ebert hands to it, dropped it. Logan arrives. Surgeon's in there as well. Went looking for Motlop and missed him. Coming away with a kick, Goddard to half forward. Well, 4 buys. Thurstons missed it. Over the football there, Pettigrew got it to Corns, pushed in the back. He'll get the free.
Just a sloppy free kick there. Corns had no bearing on the play, and his opponent there in Geary just pushed him straight in the middle of the back.
Cassisi once more. They'll build from the back. Well, sold a teammate into desperate trouble. Pettigrew somehow got free. Could have almost been holding the ball. Cassisi goes to ground. Pushing it forward is Loney. In the opposite direction, Dempster stood his ground. Got it across towards support. Down went ball. Tied up is Fiora and will have a bounce.
Geez, some good tackling there, wasn't it?
It's like a conga line through here.
Eddie there just said, no, you're not getting away, and held on.
There's the bounce about 60 metres out then. King. Brogan stripped of the football. McWalter did well. Moves at about 15 metres. First gamer reaching over the top. Farmer goes after the football on all fours. Claimed by Ball. The ball in front of him, one behind, and we'll have a bounce about 35 metres out.
Nick Del Santo started on the half-back flank. He's actually picking up Roden. Roden is pushing right up the ground, which is creating enormous space for Port Adelaide in their forward line.
Graham, third man up, knocked it down. Thurston's a little hand pass forward. Corns falling to the ground.
Yours, mate.
Boat kicks it inside the forward 50. Race back now. Blake in trouble. On the assist, Gilbert. He did pretty well. Knocked it to his own advantage and kicks it out very wide. Coming to meet the ball, keeping it in too is Montagna. Montagna hugs the boundary with a kick, and it's a beauty. Schneider released into space about 80 metres out from goal. Kaczynski was the target. He's wide of the mark. Out of bounds on the full.
Didn't have the right foot either. If he had have been able to get onto that right foot, Jason Graham had plenty of space free.
Thurstons. Corns. And now Brogan, a bit more agile than King, who steps on the mark now. Kept coming forward too. There's Pearce darting around behind, McWalter going with him. Ball floats beyond the wing, pushed in the back. Westhoff, good mark there, was taken by the first gamer Selder. Got a hand pass away to Pearce. He drives it inside the forward 50. Loose ball. Ebert grabs it 5 metres out. First goal of the afternoon.
I really like the way they've lined up in their forward line, Port Adelaide. They've got their tall there, Westhoff, they've got Motlop, they've got Pearce, and they've got Ebert at ground level, and also the first gamer in Salter. But they've got 4 bigger defenders. We just see them moving the ball really quickly here. See the space there? It is just 2 players, 2 Port players inside there attacking 50 when they had control of the ball. And there is the very smart and low to the ground Ebert just moving Gilbert off the line of the ball.
Great mark by Lower. Let's go down to Rick.
I thought Justin Westhoff was in real trouble then. He landed right in front of me. I could hear the thud. He actually landed on his left shoulder. I had a chat to the physio. He wants to stay out there, but now Blake's giving him a real test out.
Oh, it's a good way to welcome you to a game of footy, your first contest. You land like that.
4 goals last week for the young man, though. In good form. Roden comes away. A bit of energy about Port at the present time. Roden a searching kick, but Motlop was behind. Goddard plays on. Beats a would-be tackler, comes out towards the wing and stretching. Eddie, was he pushed in the back? Apparently not.
That's a great kick. That was a really great kick. I mean, it was right on the button there for Eddie to take the mark. Roden actually pushed into that last centre bounce, and Del Santos stayed off him. I'm not sure whether or not that'll be the instruction the longer the game goes, if Del Santo's actually going to pick Roden up.
And a good contest by the first gamer too, in Mitch Farmer. He went at it 100 mile an hour, and that's exactly what you expect.
Brogan off his step. Boak tracks it down towards half forward. That's a neat kick too. Roden's got it hard against the boundary line.
Just working a bit harder than St Kilda at the moment to push forward.
Well, that can't be 15. The man on the mark turns around. Lo and behold, there was a man behind him who had the footy. Goal, though, to Bentley. Aided by the bounce.
When we're talking about working hard, you'll see St Kilda players were lined up in the middle. There was no one there. No one expected that play to happen. This was the free kick, though, against Brogan. King just wrapped him up. Sometimes I wish I'd let those go. It's a bit 50-50, but no one expected this. You see the St Kilda players there in the middle. They're all just standing still. And look at this, backs to the ball even. They weren't aware.
It was a fortuitous bounce, though, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. It was a...
I'm not sure anyone would have expected the ball to bounce like that, but good on
Motlop did.
Nice bounce to get. Bentley. He was about the 8th man in the queue. Easy goal, unattended in the goal square. And Port lead it by 2 goals. Sunday afternoon footy. Brogan clashes with King in midair, goes after the football. It spills wide. Loney and Harvey. Harvey, quick release, did well, Del Santo. Hand passes ahead. Montagna wheels around, looks across the ground. Graham is on.
Break.
Graham's got it now. He's moving down towards half forward. Well, he's sort of moving. He drives it long. Schneider will fly. Almost. Hands to it, missed it. Surgeon comes away lower. Now Corn, so much of the football yet again. Bentley, who got the goal. In trouble now. Got the staggers. Corns, Cassisi, lower. Jabs one forward. Bentley's run on, then he missed it. Logan on the assist, collides with Harvey. In goes King, robbed of the football by Boak, got a hand pass away, heard the voice. Loney knocks it forward. Standing his ground was Gilbert to Harvey. Well worked by the Saints, advantages paid. Fisher comes away. Milne has to wait. Milne checked off the ball, he played it pretty well. In his hip pocket is Pettigrew. Milne gets the kick off though, and kicks a beautiful goal. Clever, very clever.
Well, that's what he can do. When the ball hits the ground, he's got enormous speed, and he's got good takeoff speed here. Good contest by Harvey. Port Adelaide are up, though, and St Kilda need to be careful. It was they got away with it here. This was the piece of play where as soon as it hit the ground, Milne, very, very comfortable, knows that he's got the pace to get away from his opponent. And when he's on the run, he's as good a shot at goal as anyone in the competition.
I believe he's a new dad. 2 goals to 1. Good start. Brogan tapped it down. Boak in trouble. Roden. Well done. Strength. Hard man to tackle. He kicks inside the forward 50. Fisher run down from behind close to the boundary. Taken across the line.
Already he's had a couple of important touches, Roden. You need to tackle. You need to wrap him up in this tackle. There's Geary's tackle. I'm not sure what he was thinking there, Geary, but he just let go and Roden was away. You've got to make sure that you bring the bloke to ground.
I reckon he thought he heard a whistle.
That's what I needed, a sympathetic tackler. Close to the boundary line, Del Santo. Fiora. Oh, that's a good hand pass.
Eddie's on here.
Goddard, terrific. Fired it out to Fisher. To space and Eddie. Eddie kicks down towards half forward. Not his best effort. Going back, Pettigrew had a lot of the football. Plays it in front. Run down from behind by Gwilt. Stewart. Thurston's in trouble. Thought about going back to Stewart. Nice little 1-2 Carlisle. Stewart feeds it forward now. Loney across the ground. Nice kick to Luca. Got the old triangulation going. McWalter just on the ground. We've discussed it before. Very un-Australian. He arrived through the interchange gates. Del Santo down towards half forward. Montagna spots Gwilt. How could you miss him? Gwilt going back and he's taken the mark.
Gee, that was great play there by McWalter. He's got the assignment on Pearce. He actually couldn't get his interchange quickly enough. He finally got on the ground. Here's the picture from down the ground. It's a great, and you see McWalter just coming in. Here he goes. That's a great tackle though too, because he wrapped up the arms of Pearce. That drew the ball out, and then they were away. They controlled the ball well then, St Kilda.
Well, he just snuck on too from the interchange, so
we don't like that.
No, we don't. But the poor player got it prior to that coming off the interchange. Good kick.
Gwilt comes in and kicks the goal.
Well, they've had their opportunities, Port. Just a couple of poor disposals. I thought the option there from Kane Corns to actually loop the handball over the top was the wrong one. They moved the ball quick here. Montagna had a couple of options inside too. Harvey was calling for it up the middle, but Gwilt was the option. That's a wonderful finish. He's been a bit maligned this year too, Gwilt, with some of his output, but they'll be delighted with that. Just St Kilda need to get their hands on the footy. 27 possessions. Port Adelaide 45.
Nice goal, his first of the season. As straight as Dr. That kick, it was online all the way. Well, last year the Heights, not so this season. Tough time. Mark Williams. DeLuca taps it down. Hayes, Harvey, ball. He's away inside the centre square. Terrible kick. And that's what lets him down occasionally. Farmer took the mark. Surgeon breaks away, kicks to the wing. Kazetsky on the overlap. Del Santo. Del Santo hesitates. Harvey goes after it. Played it pretty well. Knocked it back towards McWalter. Desperation from Bentley twice. Fed it out nicely. Pearce dancing up on his toes there, close to the line. Bentley dragged across the line by McWalter.
Oh, just some poor options, St Kilda, when they get their footy. They've put a couple of their teammates under enormous pressure, but good pressure from Port Adelaide to actually close them down.
He's been sloppy a couple of times, Del Santo, with his handball.
DeLuca tapped it down deftly. Hurried kick by Eddie inside the forward 50. Stewart's under pressure, heads for the boundary line. Graham, did he keep it in? No. Well, the boundary umpire couldn't have been any closer.
On two occasions, Del Santo's had the opportunity to handball cleanly. Here's a bad handball too over to Rob Harvey. That was really difficult.
Lazy.
And you talked about the wrong option. It was just the execution as much as the option.
Kazetsky. Del Santo. Jones, a hand to it. Gwilt lurking at the back. Ball still in there. Gwilt needs to be careful now. Tries to feed it out. Jones side-footed it. Carlisle knocked it away. Carlisle on all fours. Logan well stripped of the ball by Jones, but Surgeon takes the mark.
Dennis, you might have thought coming to this game that Port had put their cue in the rack for the season. They have put a couple of players in to have some operations, but the way they've attacked the game early in this game has been terrific, and obviously putting players on notice is going to do that.
Well, Mark Williams said before the game that he had about 6 players that are playing for their careers over the next month, so it is a big time for a lot of players concerned.
Logan could be one of them. Here's Stewart. Handful of games this season. Bentley. Back towards Stewart. Less than convincing, all of this. Burgoyne. Pettigrew. Slips away. Nice kick coming out. Hand pass over the top. Ebert running on. Not required. Kick from Surgeon down towards half forward, and it's going to be a free kick. Motlop pushed in the back.
Now he can kick this distance.
He did, but you wouldn't have thought Goddard needed to actually push him in the back here because he's much taller than Motlop. All he had to do was just keep body contact. The umpire actually said he had his arms wrapped around him, which he did, but it's marginal
at best. Well, if any player in the competition can kick 60 metres, this is one man that can do it.
He'll do a somersault before he kicks the ball, though.
Goddard doesn't get much from the umpires, does he? And now he gives away 50.
Well, he's lost the pot the last 2 weeks. He gave away a very important 50 last week over in the West.
Yes.
He's been getting frustrated for the last 3 or 4 weeks. It's time for him to pull his head in and Ross Lyon to get him off.
I think you might find here that the trainer ran across the mark. It may not have been Goddard that actually abused the umpire or even spoke to the umpire.
Well, I take everything back I just said if that's the case.
He'll struggle to miss this.
Well, he should be okay.
Motlop gets on track. Now, Ricky was an eyewitness to all of that down there. He's doing an identikit picture. Rick?
Yeah, Ox better make an apology. It was actually the trainer. Trainer number 2 actually ran through the mark. The umpire pointed the finger at him, and so Tim was right. You just see him there, just wandering through the mark, and there's the 50 right there.
Well, I've been concerned about him for a couple of weeks too, Dennis.
Trainer.
Oh, he's been out of control.
Let's hope he had his hearing aid.
Take that back, Brendan Goddard.
He's just turned his hearing aid off, though.
I think there was a chance it could have been a combo deal, though. Goddard was he was having a bit to say. So the margin is 6 points, put Adelaide's way. Still not appeased down there. Bounce favours King. Look at the hit of Montagna coming through as Graham. Boak in desperate trouble. Stood up in the tackle, played it pretty well. With the run of it, Bentley working him off the line. Kazitsky, then he was the meat in the sandwich. That ball's not coming out.
Gee, they've got a thirst for the contest, haven't they, Port Adelaide at the moment? Just pushing the ball forward. That handball really went to nobody. But the momentum was heading their direction towards the goal, and they were good enough to actually get there in numbers, just to halt St Kilda's there.
Burgoyne. Out of bounds on the full by quite a margin.
Well, a couple of the St Kilda players yet to get into the game because he's only had the 1 touch. Luke Ball only 1 touch. Nick Revolt's only had the 1 touch. So a lot of quality football going into their forward line just yet.
Goddard. A lot more passive when he's got the football. Comes to Montagna. He's at left half back. And for the moment, Port challenging St Kilda. Graham beats Motlop. Goes short. Jones. Some talk there from Blake. Blake took the mark. Now Graham back in the picture. Runs through midfield. Kicks long. Revolt will come to this football. Not in time. Lower. A couple of good grabs under pressure. Swings it out wide. Logan left half back. Pearce moving down the outer side. Logan running at him. So Pearce is halted now. Logan kicks beyond him. Coming up on the lead, Salter. Brilliant gather. Swings it across his body. Pitches on the half volley. Westhoff working hard like a crash test dummy this afternoon so far. Ball is with Hayes. Around the outer side. Little chip pass. Took something off it. Wilt's got the football. Feeds it back. Goddard. Ball a bit of a fumble. Goes over the top. Schneider. 60 metres out. Was it touched? Wilt hands to it. Couldn't hang on. Once again, Pettigrew tidies up at the back. Well, 3 Port players very close together. Lower gave it to Roden. Comes across the ground to Kane Corns.
He looked at Westhoff and decided to not go any wider, but St Kilda really sloppy when they're going forward, which is allowing Port Adelaide to take control and then rebound against them.
Well, they're possibly overusing it too, rather than getting it in long. They've got some good key forwards.
Burgoyne. Interesting attempt at the trap after the kick from Bentley. Brogan falling to the ground.
Oh, look at this.
Well, Kane Corns.
Kane Corns has got it. Ebert is breaking, kick in his direction. He's hard to beat in this situation. Well, got hands to it, couldn't hang on. Applies the tackle, the old chicken wing tackle. Got Blake down, ripped away though by Goddard with strength. Deep in his own defensive area. Hayes at centre half back. Cruising past Schneider. Up towards midfield and Graham. Lost the momentum. Back to Schneider. Hurriedly onto the right foot. Wanders inside the forward 50. Revolt. Bacon square. How will it bounce? Once. Twice. Goal.
Well, that's a penalty for not making the mark stick at half forward. Ebert came out. It was a good kick from Corns, who ducked out the back. He found some space. That's the beauty of a player of Kane Corns. He can sit on somebody, but he also plays a defensive player. And this is St Kilda moving the ball through the midfield. Now, again, it was a sloppy delivery. Port had numbers back, but it was just an individual bit of brilliance from Nick Riewoldt to gather the ball in the first place, lay it across his boot and get the correct spin. And that's a wonderful bit of play from him.
Only his second kick, but gee, that was a good one. Under pressure, thought it through, got the goal, scores a level inside 50s. Saints by 3, but where it counts, 18 apiece. DeLuca had to wait, won it decisively. Boak out of the centre, high ball inside the forward 50. That's what we were talking about. He can take a grab, he's terrific. Ebert, who dropped his last attempt, making amends right there.
Well, that was a good vertical leap, wasn't it? But a good clearance here. Just have a look at this, DeLuca. That's a great tap, and Jason Graham just caught maybe napping, letting his player get in front. But
good play by Boak again, though, too.
And good play by the young fella too, Solder, who just protected his space and let him run at the footy.
He's missed.
It's a poor miss. Quality player who normally slots those through.
Port by a point. Got hard to bring it in. Blake calling for the ball deep in the pocket. Doesn't get it. Robert Harvey. Only 3 players in the AFL VFL history have played more games than Robert Harvey after today.
What was he like to coach, Tim?
He was just fantastic. The only thing you had to do with Rob Harvey was actually to stop him from training.
Too much?
He did too much for a couple of years there and had a lot of soft tissue injuries, but he's been able to manage that better in the last couple of years.
Towards the outer side, the great players like that, aren't they? Just tell them what time the game's on, make sure they've got a good watch. As the ball goes down towards right half forward. Big scramble.
Travis Boak's already had 6 touches in the first quarter. He's probably one of those players that Mark Williams was talking about pre-game. Young players that were going to be given their opportunity over the last month of footy. He probably wouldn't have played as much in the midfield when Salopak's there, but he's out injured at the moment, so he has got his opportunities, using it well.
Harvey, brilliant. Hayes across the body. This defence is standing up reasonably well, although Carlisle dropped the mark. Kazitsky. Carlisle took him down. Graham snaps and gets the goal.
And once again, it was a hard ball get by Robert Harvey, who then was able to shovel it out. Kazitsky and Nick Riewoldt, they've been a little bit quiet, but this is the kick. An easy mark drop, though. And it only takes one error. Another hard ball get there by Montagna. And good play by Kazitsky. 3 tough bits of play that resulted in the Saints getting a goal, and I think that would be very encouraging.
Pretty easy snap after the blue by Carlisle. Should have taken the mark, dropped it.
It's a big blue, wasn't it?
Wasn't good. So St Kilda lead it by 5 points. Terrible bounce. King, Del Santo touched off the boot. DeLuca and King. This will be interesting. No land speed records coming up. Burgoyne. Gee whiz, over the top came King. Added some weight to it, but you can't do that, can you? Or can you? The umpire pulling in the wrong direction.
Just jump on.
Wow.
Watch this. Here he comes.
Well, how could he have got
bang
rid of that?
That's like getting birthday bashes in the playground.
Friendly fire in that too.
Amazing free kick as the ball comes up towards the wing, and luckily Carlisle is off the hook this time.
Bob's kick. Bob's kick.
Should have marked that too. Umpire saying his hands were slapped, but it was a gentle slap. Stewart has the football, goes across the ground. Boak, Thurstons, no player behind him. Alongside the centre circles, drives inside the forward 50. Motlop, was he being held? It's punched away down there by Fisher. Arriving quickly was Boak, left the ball behind. Was that some holding? Apparently not. Graham goes after the football, and Graham will get the free for high. Only St Kilda's second free. Port have had 5. Crowd aware of that. Fiora Cuts back towards the middle. Telling kick. What a beauty. He can do that with precision. King lays it off. Del Santo across the ground. Dempster goes very short. Graham has to go back. Takes the mark. Goddard pushing up the ground. He can kick it long towards full forward. From behind, the massive leap from Kosicki. Finds it on the ground. Incredible. Then coughed it up lower. Heads for the boundary line. Crowd want deliberate. They had to wait a while. It hadn't gone out. We'll have a boundary throw in.
It was exciting stuff, wasn't it? Kosicki, just watch this jump, bang, almost grabs a ball, but then straight up again. I thought the recovery was almost as impressive as a loop then.
Absolutely. Knee on the shoulder of Nick Revolt, if you don't mind. Westhoff out of defence towards the wing. Kane Corns going back with courage. Spilt the mark. Brogan's over the top of it. Blake over him. Kane Corns has got the footy. Swings it down towards right half forward. Ball spins out of bounds. Approaching quarter time.
Kane Corns has had a pretty good start to the match. He's had the 9 possessions, playing pretty well. Just, I reckon Mark Williams just needs to have a look at Jason Graham off half-back. He's starting to cause a few headaches.
Boundary throw in. Brogan. Eddie. Could have been taken high. Shows a lot of courage to fight on. Then he pulled it back in. This will be interesting. Well, umpire couldn't see through all of that. Eddie, a player who's taken his chance this season.
Kane Corns has now gone to Del Santo. Del Santo's been sitting back across half-back, but they're picking him up now, playing a hard tag.
I would say that was a push in the back.
Of course it was.
Harvey. Jones, a hand pass wide. Milne couldn't control it. Farmer gave it to Surgeon, to Loney. Loney needs something from Salter, who comes to him now and hits him on the chest.
He's a big lump of a lad.
He is.
And he can kick the ball, apparently. He can kick it a long way. Kicked 8 goals last week. Tim, as you mentioned in the pre-game, but for the Sandful seconds, for Woodfull West Torrens seconds. So
it's a mighty leap, isn't it, in standard of football, one would think.
He looks comfortable at the moment.
Fitness, you would think, could be interesting as this game goes on, but that's a good kick.
Well
you can see why he got the goals last week from long range. Puts his side back in front.
Well, that is a sensational kick. Outside 50, that's a huge hoof he's got on him. A massive step up in class to go from Sandful reserves. Here's the push that Dennis was talking about. Clearly that was a push in the back, but here's some smart play by Loney. Now we know that he's a really good controller of the footy. He looked up. Motlop was really deep, but he'd been covered by his direct defender. Sometimes at that point of the ground you've got to lower your eyes and kick to the shorter target. Just make sure you hit that target and retain possession. Good finish too.
Okay, thanks.
Amazing debut.
Well, that's what they need. They need a lead-up player. All sides do. They've got Ebert, who can lead out wide. Luke Ball just coming off at the moment. They have a little bit of blood rule, is it? Yep, it is. Unusual for Luke Ball to have the blood rule. He normally gets it about 15 to 18 times a year.
I would imagine Salter gives hope to everybody in the Woodville West Torrens reserves too. The step is not a big one, they'd be saying to themselves. No. Who knows, next week.
Just got to be on the list. That's one prerequisite.
You always want to hurt the dream, don't you? Harvey goes after the football from Classylvania. There's Robert Harvey down towards half forward. Graham missed it. Ball spills out of there. Oh, that was like a snap in professional football in America. Bentley just flinging it out the back.
Well, the feedback to the quarterback.
That's right.
It was a throw.
You just about go the distance here too, Graham.
Well, they don't hand pass it when they do the snap, as Graham kicks it outside the 50. Milne backs off, loops it over the top. Geary in 2 minds. Terrible kick, bounces it straight at Gwilt. Gwilt to Schneider, goes with the right boot. Havilis bounce at the post. Which bit? That bit.
Well, it was ugly. That's not the way St Kilda want to play. The kick of Graham's was a nothing kick. He didn't get back off his mark. He tried to kick it off one step, and they're not going to be good signs if they go inside 50 like that.
Logan close to the boundary line. He's playing a good game. Bentley goes short.
Good play by Port there, because St Kilda had the 15-man zone going. Now they're out and they're in their own half.
Motlop got it from Corns to Loney. Sweeping kick down towards full forward. Needing a bounce was Ebert. Down goes Salter. Picked up by Gilbert. Westhoff's got him. On the assist is Fisher. Goddard kept his head.
That's why
Santo.
Dennis, that's why they love him in defence, because he does keep his head and he's a beautiful executor.
McWalter. You see the time remaining. 1:33. Robert Harvey needs precision. Provides it. Jones has it. Running back towards full forward is Revolt. Tough contribution here required from, and it came from Carlisle. Stewart. Crowd wanted a free for Nick. Nothing doing.
Good chase.
Boak. Corns. Stewart. Close to the boundary line. Boak. He's been handy too. Down the ground, a free kick is going Port's way. Still over a minute to go in the term.
Against Montagna. Watch Nick Revolt. Once he grabbed, he had his arms wrapped. You'd expect that A4 would get a free kick in those circumstances.
That is a desperate defender, isn't he? Just trying to get
position. Yeah. Falling to the ground. It was just a last-ditch effort.
Let it go. Play on your ball to the mark.
Boak.
Right there, Jason. Hold it there.
Brogan.
Dean Brogan looking for a 3-year contract. The club only offering one at this stage, so might not have the same influence Brendan Van Volta has.
No, quite a difference.
They'll be happy to shut up shop here, Port. They've done really well in this first quarter to keep St Kilda to the score of 25, and they'll be happy to go in level peg.
Brogan got it from Stewart on the outer side, just running the clock down.
Might as well go long inside 50.
Stewart.
That'll be it.
Thank goodness. Quarter time at the Dome. Interesting affair, apart from the last 30 seconds. 4-1 apiece. This is Sunday football. So Westhoff knocked from pillar to post in the opening term, just the one kick.
I like Hayes back in the centre bounce too. He's their best clearance player.
Second term at the Dome, one down by DeLuca, taken by Graham. Del Santo's got it under pressure. Still inside the centre square. Held with Stewart. No free kick. Schneider. Little untidy. Graham feeds it forward. Jones. Montagna, that was clever. Waited and waited. Montagna was through. 50 metres out. Kicks. Offliner behind.
Well, that's when he's at his best, Montagna. He's a running receiving player, averaging 13 handball receives in the last 3 weeks. So that's his go, to run, carry the ball. They don't have too many of them inside St Kilda, so they need those blokes that can do it to do it consistently.
Bentley runs a long way. Got it from Burgoyne, the acting skipper. Good mark in front to Fisher, oblivious to what went on behind.
I reckon he's in trouble here.
Got it.
Yeah.
That's Salter.
It's the back of the head behind you.
I reckon he's in a bit of strife.
Oh dear.
That Sam, I've got to pay that.
I reckon Goddard changed his mind. I think he thought he was going to get the... Yeah, well, I reckon the eyes have it.
Go away.
And if you watch Goddard's eyes there, they're clearly
Who's the closest head, do you know?
on Salter, who's in all sorts of trouble now. He got a really heavy bump to the back of his head.
You weren't. Go away.
Hopefully he's okay. Surrounded by trainers.
I think you're right there, Tim. He was about to fly. He knew he was going to come late, and he was going that hard that he had to kind of protect himself. But he's made contact to the head.
Ox, I reckon when the review panel are looking at these incidents, what they do is they look at where the eyes are placed.
And he's watching the footy, isn't he?
And that will be the defining factor.
Yeah.
Salter to take the kick then. I would imagine his mates at the Woodville West Torrens reserves are saying, well, unfortunately, I'm not on the list.
Yeah, I reckon he's only taken his eyes off it at the last second. That's when he's actually realised he's going to make contact.
Salter. We know he can kick it a long way.
Oh, wow.
Takes his frustrations out on the footy and kicks a goal. How about this?
Ox, if he kicks half a dozen goals this afternoon, it may rank as one of the greatest performances in the history of the game.
Well, he hasn't kicked one from inside 50 yet. Also, one thing, they do make him very tough in the reserves at Woodville
West Torrens.
Very tough.
Well, he's been shaken up. He's taken the kick from outside 50, and Brendan Goddard's been actually taken from the ground after that. That is an amazing kick.
It's like boys' own annual stuff, isn't it? Plucked from obscurity
Ross Lyon just on the phone to Brendan Goddard thinking, am I in trouble?
He's got the big frame shoulder, but if you look at him in terms of his muscle definition, he actually doesn't look like a bloke that's been in the AFL system at all.
Bit of puppy fat.
31 plays 26. Port back on top. Seesawing affair. Coming in hard was Bentley. Cassisi attracts a crowd.
No, you went to the side. No, it's fine.
St Kilda's half forwards, only one is pushing up at this stoppage, and that's Snyder, so they'll play a 5-man forward line at this stoppage.
DeLuca tapped it down. Eddie went to ground, or is that Geary? Geary. Farmer's over the top of him. Schneider tracking in as well.
Ball was just there.
A lot of plays around the footy too.
Nice open forward line there for Port Adelaide. Plenty of space to operate in if they get a quick break from the stoppage.
What's happened to the old winger just out wide by himself?
Disappeared in more ways than one. DeLuca. Boak. Claimed.
Prior opportunity again. Good tackle, no prior opportunity.
Heard umpire Bozzo.
Lenny Hayes just coming in for his 5th tackle of the afternoon, which is only a quarter old. He's going to rack up 20 tackles at this rate.
Play on.
DeLuca got rid of King. Hayes.
Again. Thank you.
He's the tackle this time.
And Dennis, the reason why there's so many players around the ball at the moment is that both sides are playing a 4-man forward line, and all the half forwards and the wingmen are at this contest.
Cassisi won it down. Stewart appeared to drop the football. Cassisi comes back in. Schneider's in there as well for the Saints.
They become so important now to win these breaks, because when you go forward, you're operating with plenty of space.
Yep.
Umpire Bozzo's had enough, I reckon. Yes, too high. Finds a kick. Schneider plays on immediately. Hayes, penetrating kick deep into attack. Revolt up one-handed, punched away. In front, overrunning the ball was Ball. Jones dragged down. Loney leads in the race. Lays it off. Pettigrew hugs the boundary, goes to Stewart. On the overlap, Carlisle. Carlisle kicks to a contest, and he favoured the man from the Saints, Montagna, who fires it back over his head, waiting down there and having to wait a long time, but getting a free kick. I think it's Luke Ball. Bearing down was Pettigrew.
Just a really good kick by Montagna. It went quick in the air, and it gave the defender no chance to get back. And Luke Ball, he was off with the blood rule only moments ago. This is not his strong suit, kicking for goal.
No, and really good play there by St Kilda's forwards to chase out. That's actually forced the turnover there at half-back for them.
Carlisle's not having a good day, though. That was a bad kick coming out, wasn't it?
He's dropped a couple as well.
Yep. He'll be pleased with us. Here's Luke Ball kicking from about 25 metres out. And, David, I think you were on the money. That's a terrible effort from a good player.
That's off the hosel. That's what you call a shank.
But his kicking does let him down. We said that earlier. So much courage.
You just wonder, don't you, how much damage has been done to his overall kicking because of the osteitis pubis that plagued him for a couple of years.
There's no doubt. He seems to
pull all his kicks, and not actually kick with any real power or penetration.
What could have been if his body had been able to hold up?
Thurstons flirting with danger here. Stewart in trouble. Back to Thurstons. Lower. And the extra number gets them out of trouble. Loney runs outside the defensive 50. He's a long kick. He puts this one to the wing. Del Santo did well. Worked in front. Motlop punches away. It's out of bounds at the interchange gates.
That's a 15-man zone again. Sides are employing that. We saw Hawthorn and maybe Adelaide, a couple of others doing it early in the season. Now everybody's caught on. It becomes a real penalty if you kick a point trying to clear the ball.
King first hand to it. DeLuca falls on top of it. Revolt. Graham dropping back. Logan.
Just say the #1 possession winner on the ground is the first gamer in Paul Stewart. 13 possessions.
Cassisi, Logan. I think he might have played a few.
No, he's played a couple of games, sorry.
That's all right.
Getting overawed with all the new talent out there, Dennis.
Well, Salter's done enough for 2 men.
Was he from Woodfield West Torrens as well, Stewart?
I don't think so. Certainly not the reserves. Corns goes back. Logan's got it.
You wouldn't believe it where he's from, Dennis.
Tell
from
me.
Woodville, West Torrens.
What a club. Ball comes out wide. Surgeon takes the mark.
Gee, they're having trouble clearing the ball, though, aren't they, Port Adelaide? They just can't find their way through the maze of players in the middle of the ground. Great defensive effort here from St Kilda.
Carlisle
One sprung free now. He's got to run with the ball and try and kick over this line of players.
Lower. Runs it up to half back. Drives it towards the wing. That's a good kick. Pettigrew. He's away to space. Ebert. Bounces just in front of him. Tantalisingly close and out of bounds. So boundary throw in right half forward for Port.
Must have serious toe, but he's been cleaning Gilbert up in the run to the ball, and he's no slouch.
Oh, that's a very good point.
King decisively. Kasisi clatters in, picked up by Boak. A lot of the football for the youngster. Floats it down towards the pockets, and body use there. Deemed fair. Fisher took the mark, plays on. Breaking for him is Harvey. This will be interesting. Needed a bounce and got one. Robert Harvey. Hard against the line, kicked it into his own body, and it's gone out of bounds. So not on the full.
That's experience for you, Dennis. There's 370 games of experience there. Just watch this. Just touches his own kick. Bang.
No, so he got a kick, a smother.
Well, that's the thing. While you're working on new stuff, you should play on. As the ball comes across towards Eddie. Eddie to the wing, taken by Revolt. Looks down towards the attacking 50. Thurston's lost his compass. And the free kick will go to Kazitsky.
Got to get it there quick.
Running on is Revolt. Coming across on the angle is Goddard. Revolt has that for running. Had the ball on the wing. He's marked now on the kickoff line.
And good play by Kazitsky to hit the space. But gee, he worked hard. He let up the ground. Carlisle was caught napping. All he had to do was get on the dangerous side halfway, almost on centre wing, and he wouldn't have taken off.
Revolt then in good goal kicking form in recent weeks. Slams through his second.
I think I've just realised why Carlisle's kicking's off a little bit in this game. His legs are dead. By the time he actually gets possession of the ball, Revolt's been carting him all over the forward line. In fact, right up until about half back on circumstances. Just watch this. Here's a lot of space. It's just a wonderful camera shot there of Revolt, who worked right up to the wing, then ran into that space. They had three players there. Goddard actually could have gone for the ball. He's just seen that Revolt's been in a better position.
Well, that was some running, and Carlisle knows he was in a foot race. Revolt had the ball on the wing, and he took off like a giant Believe bar in the sun. He was running and went about 100 metres. Left the man in his wake. Oh. Strong by young Farmer. Goes after the footy. Stifled. Ball at the base of the pack.
Gee, there's some tough, hard football inside there. Watch this from Farmer.
And Burgoyne.
There's
the Malachi crunch.
A bit like a pinball, then.
While you're on the case, Ox, where's Farmer from? It couldn't be.
Oh, Dan.
Swooping on the ball.
I'll let you know.
In the opposite direction, Schneider. Del Santo clever. Ball inside the forward 50. Oh. Well, Milne took his eye off the footy at the last moment, then gave away a free kick. So a double whammy, dropped the mark. It's with Farmer now. Corns coming away as Surgeon. Rough hombre. Thurston's wide. Corns takes them on. Kicks down towards half forward. Oh, good grab.
What about the left foot bullet pass there? It
was
under pressure.
Ebert, for a moment, looked like he'd spilt it. Probing kick. Fisher stood his ground. Gwilt in desperate trouble. Interesting disposal. Westhoff almost waiting to be caught. Coming through down there. Hand passing forward. Corns. Down goes ball. Opposite direction. Burgoyne. Clattered into Gilbert. In trouble. Bentley. Down he went. Clever side foot by Burgoyne. There's our man Salter in there. Over the top of Del Santo.
Didn't drag it in, had the ball when he went to ground. Yeah, go through, go through.
This is the wrong kick into Motlop. He'll do Fisher for pace, but if the ball's kicked up in the air like this, Fisher is a very, very good body player, and he'll do that all day.
Good point.
Brogan could have almost been interfered with there. Pleads his case while there's a skirmish around him. Now it's a free kick, and it's going to Port Adelaide to be taken by Kasisi. He gives it to Motlop. Motlop was standing flat-footed, tries to make something out of nothing here, goes long across the face of goal. Kazitsky concedes a behind. Just for the moment, it's not pretty, but it's 32 apiece.
I'd love to see Motlop representing Australia at the diving at Beijing, Dennis.
The diving?
Oh, I just think that we get some variety off the 10-metre platform. It would never be a simple dive.
It's very esoteric, Tim, but yes, it wouldn't be boring.
He could almost do a floor routine as well.
I tell you what I'm hanging out for is the synchronized swimming. I've always wondered when you're watching the synchronized swimming, if the sort of senior partner cramps up, what does the second banana do? Think about that. Here's Brogan, open goal, kicks. Well, I think he's got it. He has.
Well, they were just a little bit cleaner there than what St Kilda were. They've been taking risks off half-back. They get the ball. They're playing on, which you can't deny them doing that. But it's this option here, and it's Graham's fault. He shouldn't be calling when he's got a player in front of him and behind him. Yeah. Fiora's not the problem there, because you've got to give it. If someone calls for it, you give it.
Great tackle there from Westhoff, though, too, Ox. I mean, he could have gone into his back, but he twisted it, turned.
Port leader by 6 points. Ross Lyon, whose Surrey side started so well last week in Perth and then fall by the wayside, knows he's in a battle now. Brogan just waited, won the tap. Boak left it behind. Goddard flings it out of there. And he's back.
He's back here.
Too lucky there.
Umpire was blindsided to the throw, but did see the push in the back.
One for Goddard, as we said earlier, doesn't get too many. Goes looking for Kazitsky. He's outnumbered. Needs to do something here. Tie it up if he can. Weight of numbers. Well, it didn't tell the story. Kazitsky held them up long enough. Montagna trying to kick it forward is grabbed. The ball spills out of bounds. Good result for the Saints.
Gee, what about Surgeon's effort there, Tim? Tackle, keep the ball alive. Second and third effort.
There's one to go on with from Kazitsky as well to Brogan.
Brogan took clean possession.
You've got the kick.
Now he's paying the price. He was crunched by the big guy.
He's up, Cozzy. He's just hasn't been in the play enough.
Oh,
Montagna's pushed in the back.
You give a bloke a rap, Tim, and that's what happens.
I reckon there are a lot of defenders now in the modern game who are just completely confused as to what they can and can't do when they go to the ball behind a forward like that.
Montagna just drops it in. Graham takes the mark well within kicking range.
When their number one weapon has been taken away from the defender, and that was that they were just to hit the arms. They know they can't do that now, and they're lost completely.
It's more confusion than actually doing the wrong thing, is it, do you think?
Yes.
Because really, he would have been penalised in any era for what he just did. Surgeon, that's not a bad effort from Graham. Hangs it out to the right, so the confusion makes them make errors.
I think you're spot on, Dennis.
Well, you were spot on. I'm just agreeing with you.
This is flirting, isn't it? Carlisle kicking in.
Well, here's the 15-man zone again, Ox. So now they're going to go over the top.
Oh. Brogan's the target, takes the mark, needs a runner alongside, hasn't got him yet. Feeds it back. Boak. So much of the ball this afternoon. 13th possession coming up. Drives it down towards half forward. Stretching. Salter.
He's good, this kid.
He's got something that separates him from the rest. Salter. Oh, it's a nice kick.
Gee whiz. Wood for West Torrens. And he plays for Craigieburn, Farmer, or he came from Craigieburn, Dennis, so he's not a Woodful player.
Westhoff's got the football.
Not happy with the Calder under 18 system.
Greg Westhoff comes from Central Districts. He's about 55 metres out. It's like club corner. Goes long down towards full forward. Big pack off hands against the post.
Here's the zone busting kick. If you confront it with the 15-man zone, you just give the ball to the bloke who can kick about 65 metres and kick over the top. Now they've cleared the zone. The handball could have actually gone out the back then, and they would have been away.
Del Santo to himself. Finds Gwilt. Montagna. Long kick beyond the wing. Revolt worked out of it. Loose ball at the back. Port have got the numbers. Pettigrew was pushed in the back, was he? In fact, the free kick is going to Stewart out there. Stewart. Little chip across the ground. Corns lays it off. Loney through midfield. Well, his indecision helped him, actually. Alongside the centre circles, goes for distance. Salter. Oh, almost. Did the hard work. Fisher, little 1-2 with Goddard. Now Graham thinks about going back to Fisher, used him as a jam boy. Runs up through the centre square, kicks inside the forward 50. Kosicki won't get there, Pettigrew will.
I'm just watching Solder. He came straight to the bench then. He's pushing pretty hard.
Montagna, revolt, terrific. Dempster smothered. That was wonderful by Stewart across the boot, arching the back and getting through there. Burgoyne. So the acting skipper at centre half back. Too nimble for Fiora, although Fiora came again, affected the kick. It spills at right angles out towards the boundary. Westhoff wants a free, and he gets it.
Well, the free kick was there. It was just a sloppy tackle. That's 2 in a row that Fiora's given away. He's got to keep his head.
Oxlade pushed up so high then, Port Adelaide. Then when Burgoyne actually had the ball, there was no one inside Port Adelaide's forward line to kick it to.
This is horrible.
It's not good. Lower, Kasisi comes across the ground. On the lead, Brogan will get a free kick for a push in the back.
They can't complain with that. That was just 2 hands in the middle of the back. The one thing about Solder coming into the side, because he hasn't played, a lot of, not many people have seen him. It's hard to get any vision to know what he plays like.
Yeah.
So for St Kilda to do homework on him, it's near on impossible.
Well, he wouldn't stand short for the kick for one thing. Logan, Motlop, Pearce, long down towards full forward, but the mark is taken by Ball opposed to Roden. Luke Ball, side down by 6 points.
Pearce has just had 6 touches. McQualter's picked him up. He's done a pretty good job working off him attackingly now too. Pearce is going to have to run with him, otherwise McQualter will end up with the ball here.
Blake to Fisher. Harvey once more, confronted immediately. Does well. Goes across the ground now. Montagna, he can run. Long kick down towards full forward. Well, Kosicki needs to mark it. He's outnumbered by 3 of them. DeLuca took the mark. Fed it forward. Coming away, Pettigrew once more. Kicks it towards the wing. Player very slow to get up in midfield. That's Motlop, and as a result, nobody forward inside the 50 except his man. Fisher is headed back towards the goal line. Not required. Wonderful goal by Surgeon.
Gee, the counter-attack of Port Adelaide's impressive. It's about as impressive as disappointing that St Kilda are. At the moment, when they lose the footy, when the ball is turned over, they're just not quick enough to get back and be accountable. Gwilt went over to see which player was injured. It was Motlop, and by that stage, the ball had already hit the wing. They had no structure, yet it was the movement of the footy, the quick movement, that caught St Kilda napping. They've got to switch on, otherwise this game could be out of their reach.
7-3 plays 5-3. And you would think that after last week losing in Perth, they would have been well aware of the pitfalls. I'm sure when they looked ahead, both these games, that one and Port Adelaide, were penciled in as victories. Over the football is Burgoyne. Ball up.
What's going to make it difficult for them to score out of this stoppage is the fact that Port Adelaide now has 2 free players across half back, and St Kilda have manufactured it so that they've got an extra player at the stoppage.
Problem with the clock at the moment. It's getting close to half time. DeLuca, Logan goes down towards half forward, putting the ball into the path of this man Boak. He took a clever mark under the circumstances. Outnumbered, he needed to mark it. He did. Towards the 50, Brogan. He's 60 metres out. Brogan smothered. Well done, Blake. Ricochets to Graham. Hand passes across to Hayes. Hayes kept his head. Harvey spots a man. Clever kick, a beautiful kick. And Graham didn't have to break stride.
They actually had to go out wide again then, because they couldn't break down the middle. They didn't have the numbers there, so they had to wait, hold up, and actually run through the cluster of players in the midfield.
16 disposals for Graham as he goes down towards half forward. DeLuca up one-handed, missed it. Ball paddled towards the line by Carlisle, and it will be thrown in. Carlisle made his debut against St Kilda, round 16, 2006.
Great smother. Great smother there by Blake. Great concentration.
But the difference off half-back, St Kilda haven't got the run like Port Adelaide have when they win it on their half-back line.
Montagna to a dangerous situation. Well played by the defender, though, able to knock it away. Carlisle out of bounds. Revolts not happy.
Well, it's been an okay battle. Just they haven't been able to get the ball in quick enough inside to their forward 50.
It's 19-11 inside 50 St Kilda's way, though. They've been getting the ball there. They just haven't been able to score.
Harvey Fiora may score. He's a long kick, and that's accurate.
That is a solid hoof there from Fiora. And here we see the build-up, just a handball out to the fat side of the ground where the space actually had opened up. And that's been intelligent play there by Harvey. But one of the problems with St Kilda is that they've actually found all the numbers at that end of the ground, and Port Adelaide have been scoring on the counter-attack when they've actually been able to find some space and put the ball in the hands of players who can carry it.
Just a goal of difference then. Adam Fiora, formerly with the Tigers. One thing he can do is kick, and kick well, and kick long. 45-39. Kazetsky decisively slapped it down. Ball went down. Put down by Farmer, who's a tough little hombre, Farmer. He hits them.
He's got that nuggety body like Ebert, hasn't he?
Well, he doesn't look that big in the arms, does he? But
he's got the big rump.
He's got the desire to make the contest too. That's what he has.
Bounce alongside the centre circles then. Again, Kazetsky lays it down. Harvey. Kazetsky put it in his path, but Kasisi was the man who benefited. Kicked it out wide. Pierce battling with Fiora. Well done, Fiora. Worked him off the line of the football. Needed a shepherd. Got it. Swings it back to the middle. Opportunity now. Fed forward by Eddie Fisher. There's Liz Taylor. Hand pass comes across to support once more. Through the midfield they come. Montagna. A wave of them. Finishes with Harvey kicking a long-range goal.
Well, it all started from Aaron Fiora. He gave away 2 tackles, 2 free kicks before with poor tackles. But here, you've got to remember Pierce is a super quick player. He kept his feet. But this is the important thing. He looked and he was able to hit the target, and then all of a sudden the middle of the ground opens up. From one piece of play, Fiora has created a goal. Wonderful play.
That's the best passage of play we've seen today there, to a good finish by Rob Harvey.
.45 apiece. As I said earlier, the clock at the venue not working. We get a feed from that, so we can't give you the exact time. And we don't want to go the other route with time expired. Or will we, Tim? Yes, we will. Just this once. Just over 25 minutes gone in the term. And a free kick is going to Port Adelaide. Yeah, 14th free, and that's got to be 50.
Yeah, that's just silly.
And that is a massive penalty against St Kilda.
I told him actually, I actually said get out, and he actually took a step in to try and smother it.
Schneider, the offending party. He's with a man there. His man took off. That's crazy.
Michael Vozzo won't put up with that.
No.
Not the Voz.
When your man goes, you've got to nick off.
Holds the ball very much like Brendan Pavola when he kicks.
And that hurts. No one to blame but themselves, the Saints.
Well, that really hurts. You work your way back into the game, you get on level terms, and then you give away a 50-metre penalty in the dangerous, or the most dangerous part of the ground is. Here's the free kick. Now, I reckon that's marginal in the first place. It was a pretty good tackle there by Lenny Hayes. I'm not sure the umpire saw the complete tackle then. He thought he saw something, but he didn't in fact see it. And then there's the 50-metre penalty. There's the no-go zone there that Schneider has encroached upon. And that's a simple decision for the umpire.
Combination of Michael Malthouse and Buddy Franklin playing havoc with the rules. Let's go down to Rick.
Well, boys, Nick Salter's made an exciting debut, but his day could be over. He's just gone down to the rooms with the trainer. Remember, he got crunched in the first quarter by Brendan Goddard. Well, he's got a right neck. He's got pain down his arm, so he's down in the rooms with the physio at the moment.
Thanks, Rick. Scramble back in the middle. Ball trickles out. Bentley's over it. Over him is Graham.
Thanks, guys.
St Kilda with so much to play for this afternoon, knocking on the door of the 8, but they can't afford to drop this, surely.
No, and They haven't shown enough vigour, though, in the first couple of contests or even the first quarter and a half to suggest that they are switched on 100%.
Clash of the 2-13s, won by Schneider against Farmer. What a wonderful hand pass. Releases Del Santo. Long kick towards full forward. Revolt almost. Crashing the pack there was Eddie. Stealing away, though, is Lower. Lower, the look-away hand pass to Thurstons. Loney's got it now. Across half-back. And I think this is an indication, perhaps, that he knows the time better than we do.
And they need to communicate a little bit better than what they did then, St Kilda forward. 3 forwards actually converged on the same part of the ground then, and they crowded themselves. They got a great break there from Del Santo. It was a wonderful handball over the top from Schneider. They should have done more with that.
Boundary throw in. Just the attacking side of centre wing. DeLuca crashes heavily, but won the tap, pushing the back.
He's an impressive ruckman, DeLuca. He's got it. He's very, very tall. He uses his taps really well. I think he's been a really good replacement since the demise of Brendan Lade in his form.
Oh, play on. Well, he was barely 5 metres behind. It's going to be a free kick to the Saints. Eddie was lurking, drives inside the forward 50. What a transformation this could be. Knocked away by Carlisle. Pettigrew with no one to go to. Stumbling forward was Ball, pushed to the back.
Well, he won't have a shot here, Luke Ball. He'll look to give it off.
He has.
Montagne's got it. He lines up. Well, Luke could have done that.
Look, I reckon they've got a real win in their forward line, St Kilda, and that's Revolt against Carlisle. But at this stage, they just can't isolate. Here's Del Santo coming through the centre of the ground here. Now, he had options galore, but unfortunately, 3 of the St Kilda players, watch this, 3 of them end up almost in the same spot where they're taking each other's space. They need to make sure that they split the Port Adelaide defenders. One actually goes forward to Del Santo so he can lower his eyes and actually hit that target.
Why wouldn't he have a shot? He's 45 metres out.
And that's the other option.
Bentley. Farmer, now Roden, 5 points the margin. Roden, who got the last goal, aided by a 50. Thurstons back to Roden. He's not a ball carrier, Thurstons. Roden drives it down towards half forward. Not a good effort. The mark is taken in front by Fisher. Crowd want 50. You can see the clock clap. The clock is counting up.
We know what you mean.
Down towards half forward.
Good play, Eddie.
Eddie, tackled by Logan. Heard a voice, went to Graham.
Smart kick.
Montagna. Oh, that's a good effort. It was a smart kick in as much as it went to the right man. The direction was there. It wasn't sort of silver service, but Geary did a terrific effort, lunging back to claim it.
It was a beautiful kick, really. I mean, it didn't come off the boot particularly well, but it was actually kicked to the correct space. Geary wasn't going back towards any danger whatsoever. Montagna had picked that out for him. All he needs to do now is kick truly.
Determined to get this out. The clock is counting up. Sounded like a battery chicken before. The clock is clocking. There goes the kick. Out to the left or behind.
Well, they don't seem as though they want to win this game. They don't want to go in at half time. They've had plenty of opportunities in the last 5 minutes. They still lack that little bit of polish.
Yeah, they do.
So Port intent on consuming some time. It's half time and they lead by 4 points, and the Saints have got a fight on their hands. Port Adelaide 8-3-51, St Kilda 7-5-47. Half time at the Dome. Sunday football.
There you go, there's a wrap.
Sort of. I was just going to insult him, but now I can't. Natural left footer. So big second half coming up for the Saints here.
Well, it is. They've got their finals campaign on the line against a side that will be off on September. They'll be away on holidays, so they've got it all in front of them.
Rucks go at it to start the second half. King knocks it down. Emerging with the football, Burgoyne feeds it back to Corns. Corns drives it out very wide. Tracking this one is Logan. Needed some help from the bounce, or did he? No, he did it on his own. Gives it to Bentley. Bentley inside the forward 50. Good grab, Westhoff, and that's got to be 50.
That is a great grab. Just a mismatch in height there. Westhoff clearly taller than Goddard. He's got a great pair of hands, but you're right. That should have been a 50-metre penalty.
What about this, though, of Nick Del Santo?
Poor effort by Del Santo. Had the great hold of the ball, had to influence the contest. But just watch the grab here again. just done by height there, unable to get a jump at the ball, Goddard.
Westhoff will kick from about 35. Bending back nicely. Wonderful start. Or is it? Yes, it is. That was touch and go. Westhoff gets the goal.
Coming into this game, Westhoff had kicked 16 goals. Now, we haven't seen the same vein of form that he was in last year, as we just see the winning of the ball there from Bentley, and that's just kicked to the space there, Westhoff. But I reckon in the showdown, Oxy just started to turn the corner. He showed a glimpse of what we saw last year, and it seems to me he's been able to build on that performance.
Just got to believe in his ability, because he's tall, he's got good hands, he kicks the ball well. He's got to believe and go at the footy, get the contests.
Young man from Central District, Roy Laird's School of Success. Chasing their 5th premiership in 6 seasons.
Got to get out of the middle here, St Kilda. Lenny Hayes hasn't had enough. He's only had 1 clearance. They've got Graham in there. Kane Corns has been causing a few headaches.
Dempster goes after it. Graham, the look away hand pass. Del Santo wheels across half back. That's a telling kick into the path of Jones. Well worked. Forward to Milne. Goes back towards the corridor. Overlapping is Fisher. Fisher kicks deep into attack now. The big guys are down there wrestling. Off hands. Opportunity for Thurston's. Run into a dead end. Then didn't dispose of it correctly. Play goes on. Milne dropped it on the boot awkwardly. Covered about 5 metres. Is that in the back? It may have been to Cassisi. Well, he's going to get the free kick. But they're pretty lucky, Port there. Thurston's had it for an eternity and then didn't get rid of it correctly.
Yeah, it was an incorrect disposal. He just shoveled it out. He actually had his right arm retarded and didn't make contact with the ball.
But once again, the kick into their forward line went deep into their forward line, but it was also revolt up against Kazitsky.
Yeah. They've got no space down there at the moment.
Pettigrew, a nice kick coming out. A little 1-2 with Stewart, taken by Brogan. Boak goes down towards half forward, centimetre perfect.
He's been good, Boak, too. He's been picking up Lenny Hayes, but he's been getting plenty of the ball himself.
This is what Motlop likes.
Ebert 70 metres out, goes long. Motlop flies from behind, takes the mark. Oh, Oxy. Where were his hands when he launched himself is the burning question. Will dust Blakey for Prince?
It was a great call here, but it was just the fact there's a hand in the shoulder. And had that been at the beginning of last season, that would have been clearly a free kick there. But you're right, it was a good call from Ox.
Motlop comes in and his conscience got the best of him and he's missed. There was no doubting that hand really gave him some thrust upward, didn't it?
It gave him some balance on his way up too. But Ox is right. I mean, he actually slipped in behind Blake there, got the 3 steps that he needed to actually get some elevation.
He's so dangerous when the ball comes in quick, when he can turn his player inside out. And I think that's a better matchup for Motlop Blake, because he can run him around. He's a bit more nimble than what Blake is.
Del Santo to himself. Revolt a long way up the ground. Strong mark. Just got to get him involved, Nick Revolt.
Luke Ball coming off. Geary going on.
Just had 6 touches, Nick Revolt, and a half a footy.
Yep. People talk about bad service. He's the one forward who really gets bad service. Goddard into Mines. A lot of Port players on the outer side. Cassisi. He's got the football. Plenty of time. Goes down towards half forward. Westhoff. Over the top came Goddard. Strong by Gilbert. Breaks away. Good pass, Hayes. Schneider finds a way through. Comes across the ground. Milne. Kazitsky, the only man in the forward 50. Well, that's a terrible kick. It bounces. No, it's not a bad kick. Kazitsky almost a chance. Revolt put the body in. Pettigrew falling to the ground, and Carlisle beats a hasty retreat.
Your point is a really good one, though, Dennis. The fact that he doesn't get great service. This is the forward line movement again. There's Gilbert fending off Westhoff to actually send the ball forward. But once again, it was a poor kick inside their 50.
Bentley's got it. Corn's the man who gave it to him. Bentley drives towards half forward. Big leap at the back down there by Gilbert. Finds it on the ground. Goddard taken high. No free kick. Pearce trying to get away. Stolen away by King. Back comes Ebert. Pearce has got the football. Can't get it out. Will have a bounce.
Not only was it a bad kick going inside 50, but then Stephen Milne tries to fly for the miraculous. When you do one bad thing, you should try and butter it up by making your next contest a beauty. Not trying to do the impossible. It's sometimes he goes missing brain dead.
Oh, in the back. CC again.
Yeah, they've been very sloppy, haven't they, in close. A lot of free kicks given away in that fashion.
He's the most pushable player in the AFL this afternoon. Another one in the back there. Boak. That is a long kick. Going back, the mark is taken by Westhoff, who turns round and kicks the goal.
Well, that was an incredibly deep kick there by Boak. I've been impressed with his performance this afternoon, but the closer to goal that they can isolate this matchup between Westhoff and also Goddard, the better it is for Port Adelaide. There it is once again. Goddard, the ball was long and it was deep. It actually carried a bit further than what Goddard would have liked. But just watch this. Great play there by Westhoff. He actually just pushed his hand out, which put Goddard out of position and off balance, and then he wasn't able to get a jump at the ball.
Well, Dave, I think it's fair to say that Port Adelaide's forward line is working a lot better than the Saints at the moment.
Certainly is, and at least when the ball's going inside 50, it's spinning right, it's not hitting the ground, and it's actually getting to their forwards on the full.
I've heard bad service offered up as an excuse for a lot of failings on the forward line for various players. The players who get it worst, definitely Revolt and Pavlich. Out of the middle, inside the forward 50 once more come Port. Big leaper down there was Motlop, close to the boundary line. Westhoff, who's got a bit of fire about him now. He can set a few more goals.
The other thing that Mark Williams has done too, he sent Brogan forward there too, so they are completely, there's a mismatch there. They're undersized, the St Kilda defence, so he's really trying to push home that advantage.
Well, how did the ball come out, umpire?
And Shawburn looking at the umpire saying, please, how did he get rid of it? It's a great tackle here. He had one arm pinned. That's just shoveling it out.
I've heard umpires say when players, remember Juddy did it a couple of weeks ago with the one arm free, what am I expected to do? And the reply was, you're expected to try. That time, obviously, it was beyond trying. Close to the boundary line. Pettigrew puts it out on the full. He's played a pretty good game, but not that time. Boy from West Perth.
Stay on the other side of the white. Start on the other side.
Andrew McWilder, he hasn't had much of the footy. He's had it only 3 times, but he's had 8 tackles, so you can be doing a bit when you don't have your hands on the footy.
Montagna drives it to midfield. It won't get there in time, or will it? Fisher made it look okay. Snatched it. Now he's away. Good shepherd from Jones. Fisher running down towards half forward. Well, again, the ball hangs a long time in the air. Revolt expected to mark them all. Couldn't do it. Falling to the ground under excessive pressure. There's that man, DeLuca. And is that a behind? I think it might be from King.
And they've become so one-dimensional, St Kilda, when they come forward. What they need to do is actually lower their eyes and hit some of those shorter targets just to keep this Port Adelaide defence honest.
Kaczynski, he leads up, doesn't hit him. There were three leads put on offer there, and the option was a 30-metre lollipop 30 metres out from goal. It's just non-thinking football. Poor decision-making.
But Port Adelaide defence,
they're away here again.
They're just reading it so well now, Port Adelaide's defence.
Lower. Just backs off. Sweeping hand pass. Boak prods it down the line. Taken by Bentley, lays it off to Kasisi, kicks towards the 50, Westhoff, 60 metres out, hit the ground running, looks to the middle. Motlop.
But you look at the methodology there, Dennis, and the real difference between their transition from half-back to half-forward. Westhoff coming right up the ground, presenting, them using him, and then he quickly playing on and finding the space that Motlop had created centre-half forward.
I reckon he would have been a good outfielder. Just put up the big glove and...
It's got very quiet here. It's like the Sistine Chapel. Motlop from 60 metres out. Saints fans gulp. It's a goal.
Let's go. Let's go. Come on.
Well, what a great kick. You'll see that he kicked that from 60 metres, but it's here. Being able to get the handball off, always got support beside. Westhoff takes the mark. He plays on, and he knows that there's always going to be someone there. Now, he marks from outside 50, 2, 3, 4 steps. He's a unique talent. He's kicked a lot of goals this year, and I think he's a lot better when he's further out.
Gee, the real danger signs now too, Dennis, that this game's slipping away from the Saints.
21 points. They've got to do something in that box. Otherwise, the final 8 is going to be tough. Very tough. Roden, Surgeon. The power is with the power right now. Ebert spectacularly couldn't pull it down. Crumbed away by Gilbert towards the boundary. He finds Revolt.
Oh, come on, umpire. The only thing that dislodged that ball was when the actual ball hit the ground.
So technically,
we'll have a look at it because that was a mark. Surely, have a look at this.
Oh, no, he just dropped it on the way down.
Great decision, umpire. Got it right.
Kazitsky. Fiora. Now Montagna, 70 metres out from goal. The idea of some Saints players to lead is to put their arms up. Here's an opportunity for ball. Ball to Harvey. Harvey goes short. That's better. Half volley, though. Coming through. Pettigrew. Lower. Loney. Farmer. They carry the day again. Terrific stuff by Port. The combination's working back there. Aided by the Saints' delivery inside the forward line. Burgoyne to the outer side. Loose ball. Blake gets back first, but the boundary line is too near.
It's amazing when Port Adelaide are coming out of defence that all their players leading up are in front. Harvey normally hits those targets, but gee, that's a good handball. Not this one there from lower. Fantastic.
DeLuca with strength wins it down. Fisher slaps it back. Cassisi falling to the ground. Cassisi again, wonderful second effort, held to him.
But still had plenty of space. I mean, the forward line at the moment, there's just really 2 players that are deep. One's Brogan, who's pushed right back to the goal square against Goddard, and also Ebert, who's manned up against Gilbert. Just look at that space they've got in front of them from this stoppage.
DeLuca. Harvey very deliberately put it on the boot. Needed to. Down goes Blake.
Line, thanks, guys. Walk away.
Hasn't it gone quiet?
Guys, watch him out here. Guys. Thanks, guys. Yeah.
Little flare up, spot fire. Tapped down by Blake. High ball from Boak. Coming up the ground, but terrific mark going back with a flight of it, Schneider.
That's what they might need, just someone to give them a bit of a spark.
Uses the ball brilliantly too. Graham has it. Gilbert. Storming down towards half forward. They picked a good man. Fiora lines up and gets it. Gun barrel straights.
What an inspirational bit of play that was from Adam Schneider there. Went back with the fly of the ball. Ebert was charging in on top of him. Good finish here by Fiora as well. But there's Gilbert. Kept his head there. And that was an intelligent handball. The kick was on a little bit earlier for Kaczynski, but he actually kept going back towards the goal. Once they carried the ball to this part of the ground, then they're within striking distance. And that's what you need. Somebody like Aaron Fiora, who's capable of finishing off the good work from further up the field.
Jason Graham's been good, Ox.
Yes, he's had 19, but I don't think as a forward, if you're playing for St Kilda, you'd be too impressed because they just carry it too far and they don't get the ball in quick enough.
Del Santo with the outside of the boot. It wanders out towards the wing. Jones tracks it. Lays it off to Hayes. Hayes goes forward. Ball. Their midfielders must do more. Revolt on the lead. That was a good kick from Ball.
Because he wants it in quick.
Revolt goes in the Kaczynski direction. A bit of a stumble coming at the football down there. They fought a draw. Kaczynski comes again. Head down. Knocks it goalward. Working hard in there as Goddard slipped over. In fact, it was Eddie. Milne's got it. Hand passes back towards full forward. Harvey got a kick away. Geary right on the boundary line. Well, he tried to blast his way through. And it ricochets across the line for a behind. And Harvey was hit hard last week.
Harvey's down.
Yeah, hit hard against the West Coast Eagles. On the hip is down again and hurt. Robert Harvey.
He doesn't look good at all.
That was pretty torrid in there.
They should call for the stretcher now.
Well, he's got his left arm pinned around. We'll have a look at it here.
He gets a kick out here, Ox. Oh, bang, just face straight into the turf.
It's the second one of the weekend we've seen. Saw Darren Milburn, the Richmond player, in very similar fashion.
I heard Kevin Bartlett talking about this too. He's on the rules committee about the slinging tackle. and how the umpires had been instructed by the Rules Committee at the beginning of the year to penalise players that did that, and the review panel also to look at those incidents really closely. It's the second motion of the tackle. Especially when you've locked him up, he hasn't got his hands now to actually cushion the fall, and then he's just driven into the turf, and that's where the damage is done.
Well, if they're after inspiration, Robert Harvey has played for 20 years. If St Kilda need anything, a lift to play finals footy, to see one of their champions being taken off, well, I'm not sure if they need any more.
Well, I'll tell you what
this is.
The other thing they need to do, though, very quickly is get him off the ground, because Port Adelaide have now got one extra player out there.
This could be a rallying point as far as the Saints are concerned. They need one. Harvey, very woozy, comes off the ground. Roden's got the football, just scored of right half back. He was put down very hard. The problem, I guess, for the tackling player there is this is a terrible kick. Goes out of bounds on the full. Graham's got it. Harvey was actually trying to kick the football, and the guy who's tackling obviously is trying to get that body around to affect the kick.
Oh dear.
Brogan didn't like the theory, or just it was a bad turnover. Close to the boundary line, it goes out.
Sorry, Dennis, I'm all ears, but I didn't like the turnover.
Let's have a look at this tackle again.
Yep.
Because the footy's gone.
Well,
only just though. It was in the motion, wasn't he? He got rid of the ball as he was being tackled.
And the problem there is, you know where the goals are as the defender too. You're trying to get him around as far as you can to affect the kick to the pocket. That's a dicey one.
But it is dangerous, isn't it? I mean, you lock someone's arms up like that, they've got nothing to cushion the fall, and then you drive them into the turf. I mean, we see concussions week in, week out from that type of tackle, and that's one of the great advancements in our game, has been the defensive side of the game, in particular the tackles, but it's probably just gone too far. They're too good now with their tackles.
They're too strong, perhaps. Here's Jones reversing. Certainly the crowd back into the contest. McWalter to Gwilt. Kicks it inside the forward 50. Kaczynski!
At long last, they've got it in quick and long. And Kozzy has been waiting nearly a half a game of football for the ball to come in like that. He knows he can beat Thurston's one-on-one. And in a contested situation, there ain't too many better than Justin Kaczynski.
He used his body beautifully, didn't he?
Well, and Thurston's tried to initiate the contact.
Margin 14 points then. This one way out to the right. Behind. Clock is working again, as you can see. Stops at 8:35 remaining in the term. 11-4, 8-9. Problematic, we'll see him back. Although they do wonderful things with concussions these days. Bentley. Cassisi.
Well, I think when Robert Harvey was coming off, they'd asked him what his name was. He wouldn't have got it right. He was that groggy.
No. Cassisi towards the wing. A lot of hands on that football. Who will they pay? Kaczynski. Fair enough. He came down with it. Graham to the middle. Montagna. Now Fisher ran into Motlop. It was a generous tackle by Motlop. There wasn't a lot of viciousness in that. Goddard gave it to Hayes, to Montagna. Goes looking for Revolt. Oh, terrific by Eddie. 9 out of 10 there for Courage coming back. Young man, first season on the stretch. Everything exposed, those ribs opened up. Big 9.
Well, this is the one that can put you out of footy for a long time, and you get tested occasionally.
Great play here by Goddard, just to get himself out of that congestion in the midfield, then to open up the play.
That's terrific. Did it graze the post? It did.
Just kissed it.
The slim bit.
It's even more painful when it's on the slim bit.
12 points the difference.
Got the zone set up here to St Kilda, and they might get it here.
Oh! McWalter was bearing down. Pettigrew kept his head. 20th possession. Loney, Thurston's to the outer side. That's a good kick. Shouldn't sound surprised. Logan, Burgoyne directs it down onto the boot. Boak. Loney against the line, kicks inside the forward 50. There's the difference.
It's a massive difference, isn't it, their methodology of bringing the ball forward.
Ebert hard against the boundary line, centering kick, all St Kilda.
Well, without being too dramatic, Dennis, I mean, St Kilda's season right now is on the line.
Yes.
I mean, they could probably still make the finals if they lose today, but it's going to be incredibly difficult for them to do it.
Corns off the interchange. Strong mark, catch-22 situation there as Bentley runs away. Standing his ground, Roden had it punched away. Getting the crumb, Montagna. That's a clever kick, not 15. Hayes waited. Blake, don't know how he got rid of that. Goddard coughed it up. Little hand pass, Cassisi to Bentley. And Bentley finds Westhoff.
How good's this boat been this quarter?
We'll have a look at that replay there, and that handball that went directly to the opposition. Here it is, Goddard.
He just expected somebody to be there, didn't he? He expected to have the follow-up play. Good play here by Bentley, but been really impressed with Westhoff, the fact that he's been able to manoeuvre himself across the forward line in different positions.
How big is this kick? Westhoff. Huge kick for both clubs, and he puts it through.
Ox, I was talking about their season being on the line now, St Kilda. They lose today. It's going to be really difficult. They play Collingwood next week. Here they are. They're really struggling to clear the ball. It was an instinctive handball from Goddard back inside, but they just haven't been able to get anybody capable of shutting down Westhoff in this third quarter.
Do you reckon Don Cassisi called Goddard for it? May have sucked him in?
Well, he possibly did, but it looked like Goddard just actually handballed before he looked as to where it was heading.
18-point margin. What news on Robert Harvey, Rick?
Well, it looks a little bit better for Robert Harvey. He's just had a bit of a wander around the boundary line. He's taken a couple of Panadols. I reckon he'll probably have to sit an exam at three-quarter time, though, before they let him come back on. But one thing about the Saints fans, they do love Robert Harvey, and since he went down, they've really lifted and made a little bit more noise, trying to change the momentum.
He looks paler than Paris Hilton there on the bench, though. Scramble beside the centre circles.
Quilt is now on Westhoff. I mean, that's a great match-up for Port Adelaide, and they'll be trying to isolate that pairing, and I would expect that Westhoff will actually push deep into the goal square if he possibly can.
He's a confidence player too, isn't he? When Westhoff gets his hands on it, he seems to be able to duplicate it.
Another scramble. Actually, it sounds pretty rich coming from a guy who wears makeup, and I'm no doctor, but gee, Robert Harvey did look pale then. What do you think, Dr. Ox?
Yeah, I think he's a star, though. He's had a lot of knocks.
I'm sending nobody to you for a second opinion.
No.
Free kick is going to Blake.
We'll sit on the fence on it.
Blake looks inside the forward 50. Long kick. Kaczynski's the target. Thurstons. He was aware of Kaczynski. Looked over the left shoulder. And then took the mark.
Brogan out here on his own.
Here.
Stewart runs away. Finds Brogan on the wing. Brogan, well, slightly back from the wing.
She's been impressive. Stewart too. He's had 20 touches already.
We just need someone to really give them a spark. I thought the Schneider thing before, but Eddie missed the goal, and then they go up the other end and kick a goal through Westhoff. If had no one really stand up and just take the game by the scruff of the neck.
Logan, good catch by Cassisi. It was a catch to the hands there early, and the ball just nestling in.
Hayes has to get busy too. He's had 11 disposals so far for the game. He's been averaging about 25 over the last month. So Boak's been doing a really good job on him.
This is precision stuff at the present time from Port as they work their way forward along the boundary line. Roden, 70 metres out. Again close to the boundary line with the kick. Westhoff almost. And that was always going to happen. If they didn't take the mark, the ball would go out and they could regroup, and they've done that successfully in the right full forward pocket. Terrific stuff, Port.
It's very rare that St Kilda get their hands on the footy once Port have got it from back inside their 50.
Oh, Kaczynski took a risk. He flicked it down goal side. Ball got a hand pass. Montagna is running.
Revolt, got to go now.
Still Montagna. Look at him stride out across the dome surface inside the forward 50. Revolt threw himself at it, didn't mark. Carlisle crawled after the ball. Revolt, Jackie Chan odds down there. Ball slapped towards the boundary line. Milne keeps it alive. This will run away from goal. It does. Continues to run. Down went Schneider in the foreground. In the distance, Stewart got a hand pass away. And they'll work it away as the kick from Cassisi goes close to the line, and Surgeon. Cassisi's been very good. In, hard-working,
I reckon Montagna took one too many bounces.
Yeah, I'm not sure, Ox. I think the real problem again for St Kilda was they actually only had one option. I mean, revolt was the only option they had when they went forward, whereas every time Port's gone forward, they've had 2 or 3 options.
Blake in desperate trouble. How did he get rid of that? Holding the ball to call, it just fell to the ground. And now the gravity of the situation really sinking in. Blake was being held there, perhaps.
Well, he put the arms up, he tried to avoid it. And the umpire said you had a prior opportunity. They're away here too, St Kilda.
Willed across the ground. Kazitsky 2.5 minutes to 3/4 time. Kazitsky.
Smallest bloke on the ground. Oh, he's taken it.
Knew what he was doing. McWalter's taken the mark. McWalter felt he played on. Kicks inside the 50 once more. 3-on-1. Camped in front, Milne. Milne falls to the ground to Dempster. It was smothered by Burgoyne. Wonderful courage there by the Port defender, Lower. Advantage is paid. Lower is down, he's hurt. Logan, meantime, has the football. Bit going on. Where's Bruce? Runs inside the forward 50. Hit the post.
It's good to see Lower just getting up onto his knees now. I thought he was seriously hit. He dived for the ball. Just watch this. He just turned his head. Lenny Hayes coming in on the ball. Lenny Hayes just looking back as well. He thought that he might have hurt him seriously, but that's a serious crunch and great courage shown by Lower.
I might look at Lenny too, I would think, as the ball comes out towards the boundary. Ball came in hard. Wonderful balance though by Stewart. Ball came again. Well done. Stripped him of the football.
I'm not sure they will look at Lenny on that. He couldn't get down any lower.
Was that a pun? As the ball comes across towards Goddard. Slips a hand pass to Graham. Graham, Gwilt, 40 metres out, Gwilt. This will bring the roof down. St Kilda still alive.
Well, what they were able to do then was, while a fight was breaking out, they had a couple of players over there, Port Adelaide. St Kilda did what they should be doing all the time. Just get the ball on, trust in their forwards, trust in their runners.
Well, they're not really trusting in their forwards at all. I mean, the times they've looked most dangerous, Ox, is when they've actually carried the ball from almost their back half or from the centre part of the ground forward and actually just kick the goals themselves.
I still reckon they're carrying it too far. I reckon they've got to get the ball and just get it on their boot.
13 points the difference. Wonderful running goal. And what about that bump again? Lenny Hayes on young Lower.
I reckon Lenny's okay. I reckon the ball was there. He turned his body and went at the ball. I reckon he'd be very unlucky if that was sided.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Nick Lower showed wonderful courage in that situation. There was a bit of a skirmish to the side of all of that action too, so you've got to keep looking to various places on this ground.
It's come alive, this game.
The side that come back to finals, Port Adelaide, loving the situation they find themselves in. They can shape the top 8 starting today. They've got some big names missing. Corns goes to the outer side. Here's Bentley. And Bentley just holds it up inside the last minute of this term. And Port Adelaide will turn for home with the lead. Boak, who's been a very good player this afternoon with a footy. 22nd possession. Cassisi loved his game.
They've just been a lot cleaner, haven't they? When they've got the footy, they haven't wasted it. They've tackled well. They haven't been as clumsy as what St Kilda have been. They've given away a lot of free kicks, St Kilda.
Saints fans are booing. Thurstons, took a gamble there. Corns had it knocked away. Cassisi running out of space. Cassisi, like he was playing wee, just dancing on the one spot, goes in short, and the lead offered by Bentley. Bentley's got the ball. So we're down to 6 seconds. 3/4 time coming up. Ball in flight as the siren sounds, and the Saints in trouble at the Dome. A game they would have expected to win, but against the odds, Port Adelaide have been terrific today. 12-5 Port, 9-10 Saints. This is Sunday football.
and they need more from Lenny Hayes. He's had a fairly quiet sort of an afternoon so far. So, I mean, at three-quarter time as a coach, you look to your stars to be the ones that actually produce more in the last quarter of football. Ball has to get more of the footy. Del Santo, even though he's had, you know, like 17 odd touches, he hasn't had a tackle, so he hasn't been as involved in a game of footy as what you might like. But they're the sorts of players who just need to lift. As we see Lenny just getting some work on the boundary line, he'll start on the interchange.
12-5-77, 9-10-64.
It's a good point you make about Jason Graham, Nick Del Santo, Fisher and Jones, all backmen, not a tackle between them.
Final term then at the Dome, 13 points the margin. Logan in trouble. Socket off the ground by Boak. Still inside the centre square. Jones tackle from behind, put down, bounces to his feet. Farmer in pursuit. This is Gwilt, got a nice goal in the previous term. Graham, a lot of the football. Takes something off that kick. It was a beauty. Ball on the wing, looks towards the middle. Kept his head nicely. McWalter, look away, hand pass. Del Santo finds a way through. 52 metres out. Long kick down towards full forward. Saw Milne Kemp in front. Tried to go low. It ricochets back. Taken by Brogan. Brogan lays it off. Scrambled out of there by Surgeon. And it finds the boundary line.
See, once again, I mean, the first kick was good. Luke Ball lowered his eyes. They actually found a different passage into their forward line. But that next kick from Del Santo, I mean, he just kicked it as high as he possibly could for the contest. But they haven't been able to get a goal from a crumb.
He's an experienced player. He's done two of them today.
Socket forward by Dempster. Good use of the body. McWalter gives it across the ball. Must kick a goal here. And he has.
Great finish there by Luke Ball.
That's who you turn to, though, don't you, Ox? When you get in a situation like this, you look to your best or your better players and you say, you need to give us a lift. You need to deliver in this last quarter. And already he's had a couple of important touches. That's an important one, too, from McWalter.
Well, he's had the 14 touches, but he's had 10 tackles. He's working hard. He may even have his speed back. He looked like he's taken off a couple of times. So if you go back in the middle, they'll want him to get it out.
7 points. His first thumping as an AFL coach came against St Kilda. 62 points, round 9 back in 1999. Mark Williams has known a lot of success since. Bounce. Brogan tapped it down. Missing the football, Bentley, not so Gwilt. Another punishing kick inside the 50. Stewart, who's been very good, follows up the football, having punched it down, being held to him. Umpire Bozzo gives the explanation.
Didn't dive on it, mate. I can't pay it.
Big ball here. They've got a couple of players inside their goal square here, the Saints. Otherwise, everyone else is around the footy.
Brogan was pushed out.
Mark Williams concerned too now about Graham and his run. Kane Corns has got the job on him. Kane Corns is actually playing as a forward, but he's tagging Graham,
which isn't a bad move.
Burgoyne just gets away from half-back.
Great
penetrating kick. Bentley's after the football. Gwilt's after him. And Gwilt won the battle. Gentle push in the side was good enough. Del Santo to Graham once more. Graham unloads with a beautiful kick. Like a relay runner waiting for the baton to arrive. Schneider took it. Runs inside the 50. What's he done? He's barely sneaked it through for a behind.
Just gave him a little bit of carry there too. Did Travis Boak.
Yeah.
Just said, nice kick there, Schneider man. Might have got a little bit more personal than that.
You're amazing at that distance.
These binoculars.
Thurston's comes away. Graham launched himself early. Kozinski was up in front. Graham, King. Graham was taken down. Now I think that Corns was prepared to give up the kick, but he didn't realise that the hand pass was going to King. Well, Graham wasting no time, plays on, runs away from Corns, 60 metres out. Another terrible kick.
What is that?
Not sure. Farmer gave it to Corns. Carlisle having to bend down low for that one. Bentley, eventually it flicks round in there and comes to Carlisle. He goes inside the forward 50. Motlop, was he pushed in the back? Well, he got a kick in there. Statsman put it down. 3 on 2. And the three going up and down on the one spot at the moment. Eventually Fisher comes away. Pinpoints it nicely. Fiora's away. 6-point game. Fiora goes to King. Alongside the centre circles to half forward and Revolt. Brilliantly done. Took the half volley. Upended McWalter. Is that 15? Yes, it is. Schneider with a chance to make amends.
I'm not the lip reader here. Ox is the lip reader. But I reckon if you had your binoculars on, Ross Lyon at three-quarter time, one of the other things he might have said to his players was lower your eyes when you get the ball around the central part of the ground, because we've seen that on 3 occasions. St Kilda players who blazed away early in the game, just hitting those early targets, those shorter targets.
It's a big kick, this one.
What about the flying drop kick from Motlop at the other end? Almost succeeded. Schneider, well, this isn't as good as his last effort.
You're right about lowering the eyes. That's why I couldn't believe Nick Del Santo at the 50. He decided just to kick one 40 metres in the air and 40 metres long.
Saints inside a goal now. Thurstons drives it out. Brogan goes up.
On contact. Drop your arm.
Brogan got a free kick, plays on immediately. Boak with a runner outside and inside. Well gathered by Pettigrew. Stumbles, still going. Wonderful balance.
Come at him quick.
Pettigrew can kick it a long way. Decides to give it off though. Comes across to his support, Surgeon, and Surgeon's missed.
Right out. Daniel, right out.
Oh. The game is there for the taking, gentlemen.
It is. Holes are starting to appear because there's a lot of tired players out there too. 297 possessions to Port Adelaide, 273 to St Kilda.
2-5 to Saints 2 from set shots, so I mean that potentially will hurt them.
Will Robert Harvey come back? We'll get a complexion update from Rick very shortly. Montagna in the back pocket, under pressure, wide of Blake. Arriving quickly was Farmer. Keeps going, does Farmer. Oh, that's a terrific tackle by the first gamer. Should have been rewarded. Is giving the umpire some lip as he tackles another player. I like number 13.
Yes, so do I.
There's something agricultural about his tackling too, isn't there, Dennis?
Yes, he's from the agrarian revolution, this boy. Meantime, boundary throw in. Free kick is going Port's way.
I reckon Dean Brogan has won 4 free kicks this term. He is, every time he's gone up, they've almost targeted him. Just silly stuff too.
Big 5 minutes of footy here for Lenny Hayes. He's just replacing Luke Ball. Ball's been really good in the early part of this final term. Now Lenny needs to get involved in the game.
Brogan then. About 65 metres out from goal. Ebert is lurking. Pearce has got it. I think St Kilda will wake up to that play. But the ball with Boak. Yeah, he's terrific, isn't he?
Very good.
Now, I think they knew the hand pass was going to come and they released their runner from the interchange gates, but he didn't get there in time.
McWalter and Pearce still going at each other. It's a 50. Oh, no. He was told to move and he didn't.
Elbow too high.
Well, we had Snyder's 50-metre penalty in the last quarter. Now we've effectively given Port Adelaide another goal in this last quarter. Now, in a close, tight game like this, you cannot afford to make those errors.
Yes. Boak, point-blank range. St Kilda trying to get to the finals. And Boak has other ideas.
Well, he's had a very good afternoon, Boak. He's had 25 disposals, 8 marks, 4 tackles, 4 contested, 5 inside 50s, 3 clearances and a goal. And McWalter was told to move out of the way, and they kept going. And he refused to move. He got given a 50-metre penalty. More worried about the player than the smarts about where the mark is. Inexcusable. Ross Lyon won't be happy.
12 points the difference.
She's been good. I mean, he's no slouch. He was taken pick number 5 in the 06 national draft, so he was always considered one of the best juniors in the country.
Yeah.
Their midfield looks all right too now, doesn't it? When you put Salopek back into that midfield alongside Corns and Burgoyne.
Still 15 minutes to go. Dug out of the centre by Kazetsky. Revolt comes up. Finds it on the bounce. Goes to Hayes. Hayes 65 metres out. from behind. The leap comes from Schneider.
He'll probably give this off. He missed his last two.
Yeah, that's a line. That's a line. Right out.
At least turn and have a look at the goals.
He's got to kick this.
Hey, Ox, you're the forward. I mean, when you've missed a couple, how difficult is it to take this third kick?
It's really tough, but what you need to do is go back and do it. You've done a training 1,000 times. Keep the routine the same and concentrate on your ball drop.
Adam Schneider. Huge kick. There's been a few of them this afternoon. Comes in, kicks it with authority. There you go.
Well, he's been outstanding. I wouldn't mind betting he got a needle at three-quarter time either from the coach, because his football's come alive in this last quarter. Revolt really won the ball cleverly. Here's Hayes. Great pressure there again from Boak, who just forced him to kick the ball quickly, but that's a great mark there from Schneider. Not actually known for his marking ability, and there's the great reaction from him. He knows how important that kick was.
Only kick out of it now.
6 points the difference as we go down to Ricky Olorenshaw.
There's a real contrast in body language on the St Kilda bench. You can see Robert Harvey there. He's eager to get back on. He refuses to sit down. He's got ants in his pants. He's been stretching the hamstrings, running around the boundary. But you look at the doctor, he doesn't look that confident about him coming back on, but he's still a chance.
Montagna's got it. Boak's got him. Blake, Hayes inside the centre square, swings it out wide. Graham tracks it towards the boundary. He's got it. Hand passes to his own advantage. And then lost it.
Just looked up quickly there, took his eye off the ball. Interesting move from the Saints, though, too, to put Blake into the ruck against Brogan. Now, they'll lose out in these battles, but where they'll win, Ox, is around the ground.
As long as he doesn't give away free kicks like Kazitsky did earlier.
Farmer belting away like Charlie Watts in there. Ball up.
There's a go Farmer, though, doesn't he?
Oh, we
gets
like
in.
him.
Tough body. 8 possessions he's had today. He's had 5 tackles.
Looks like butter wouldn't melt in his mouth, but the way he plays it, Ida Sharon.
A bit of Ryan O'Keefe about him too.
Another scramble, another ball up, I would imagine. Interesting. Port not that good in tight finishes this season. They've lost 4 by under 10 points. Brogan holding them off with one arm, tapping down with the other. Loney was taken high, no free kick. Wilt does well. So does Hayes, so does Jones. Hayes gets through, runs to 50. Not the greatest kick, but Kazitsky over the top. Too big, too strong.
Well, I thought that was a really good option by Lenny Hayes. He knows his capabilities.
Isn't it good to see Lenny getting involved? I reckon he's injured, actually, Lenny Hayes.
He's not 100%. He's only played 4 or 5 minutes of this last term.
And is coming off the ground again after this kick. I reckon he must have a corky. I mean, I'm just watching him now. He's a property, isn't he? He's had his. He's gone straight to the bench again.
Kazitsky.
It's his groin.
To level of scores. Got a thriller.
Well, there'll be a couple of sides. I don't think Adelaide would barrack for Port Adelaide all that often, but I reckon they would be right now. There's Lenny Hayes just stretching out his hamstring. Of course, Adelaide just inside the 8. Brisbane are vying for a top 8 spot as well. St Kilda can take one of them. Yeah, he's not 100%.
He just pulled on the kick, didn't he?
Yeah. Might be just a bit of cramp later on in the match.
Nice hands from Andrew McWalter leading to that last goal. Rick Olorenshaw.
Well, the signs aren't good with Lenny Hayes. He came straight off the ground, straight to the physio. He's having his hamstring assessed at the moment. You can definitely feel a spot there. He actually missed a game early in the season with a hamstring problem. Also a problem on the Port bench. Travis Boak has come off with a groin problem. He's just warming up around the badger now, but he's in a little bit of trouble as well. Scores
level, final term. Big leap, DeLuca, Cassisi. Look at him go. He's a terrier in there. Well played by Blake eventually. Wilt towards half forward. Revolts and pushing. Fair enough to clear the path for Eddie. Any score will lead. Not with that kick, it won't. Over the top, Carlisle. Ball's got the football and kicks it behind. Saints in front.
Well, they had Kazitsky free too, Luke Ball.
Just watching Harvey down on the bench at the moment. He's been doing a little bit of exercise work as well. He looks ready to come back on. It's a real problem if he can't, because without Lenny Hayes and Harvey, they're down 2 of their key midfielders to be able to run this game out.
Thurstons bangs it straight down the middle. DeLuca outmaneuvered, fell in front. Free kick Saints.
Hand it over, hand it over, hand it over.
She's had a couple of handy touches in the last couple of minutes too. Blake just got his hand on that one.
Fiora inside the centre square.
Good kick.
2 men loose. One of them, Eddie's got the football. He'll kick from right on the 50.
How does he go, Tim? Can he get the distance?
I reckon this will test him, this.
3 metres now, Tom.
Okay, Nick Revolt just barking instructions. Get out, clear it out. Or good decision.
Ram from long range. He's offline. Helped across the line by Lower. 2 points the difference. Still a long way from home.
Just want to wake up to that, Port Adelaide. That was a set play. Most sides do it now.
With so much to play for, though, St Kilda, you would expect that they would come out on top in this game.
They've won 3 games by less than 10 points, the Saints.
Well, they had the game for the taking last week against the side that had only won 2 games for the year, and they couldn't get the chocolates.
That's fine.
That's the thing. If you can't beat West Coast and Port, you wonder whether you deserve to be in the top 8.
Yeah, you're just making up the numbers.
Cassisi taken front on. Is that holding the football? It's got to be close. Umpire lets them play. Loose football. Lower dives on top of it. Corns is in there. Ball over the top. Umpire Keating. Umpire Keating goes in and says, this is the bounce we had to have.
William Montagna pleading his case. He just dropped it, umpire.
That's like an old training drill, isn't it? Kicking the ball out to 3-on-3.
20 metres out from goal.
Free kick.
Port get a free kick. DeLuca.
They've given away a lot of free kicks in the ruck in this last term, St Kilda.
You can understand it more with DeLuca. He's a lot of man to get around.
That's 6'11" or something, isn't he?
They're better off taking through the points here.
Lower.
Big man.
Steps back across the line.
This gives you an opportunity just to reset. St Kilda have pushed all their numbers down, so it's a 15-man zone. It won't be easy for them to clear. No. They've just got to work their way through this, Port.
Burgoyne. Thurstons.
What's 203 centimetres in the old, Dennis?
6'11". I don't know. A bit shorter than 6'11", I think.
It's a big boy, though.
I just deal in centimetres these days. To the outer side. Up goes Hayes. Takes the mark. Can't remember that old stuff. Down towards half forward. Schneider, centering kick, fisted away by Carlisle. Roden, Corns, Logan drives it towards the outer side. Brogan stretching and across the line. Boundary throw in. It's cool, says Brogan. Thumbs up.
It's a big usual ball winners there, except for Boak and Stewart, but Graham, Corns and Montagna, they're used to getting plenty of it.
Important takeaway here. DeLuca was up, won it down. Cassisi crashes into the pack. Well, a battle of wills there and strength. Roden won both. Gives it across to DeLuca. Corns, Loney, too slick for Corns. He's dived on top of it. Back to Loney. Loney kicks down towards half forward. Bounces awkwardly for Brogan, who led up. Taken by Ebert. Across the body, misses to the near side.
He just didn't turn or couldn't turn his right shoulder in enough to get the swing on the ball. But what a great bit of play that was from Graham in the centre of the ground as we see Jones just limping off the ground for St Kilda.
What about Roden too?
Robert Harvey, the crowd.
Back to a hero's welcome. Gilbert's got the football in the defensive 50. Immediately Harvey into the action. Drives it just beyond the wing, taken by Milne. 2 points the difference. Saints lead. They trail by 13 at three-quarter time. Just over 9 minutes to play. Kicks down to the 50. DeLuca the big leap. Ball behind. Awkward situation. How did he dispose of that one? Crashing in Thurstons. Did he dive on it? Lower is still diving too. Despite that heavy knock, will have a bounce.
It's great for St Kilda to have a fresh player like Harvey on the ground now too. Even as long as his head's clear, which obviously it is because of the testing they do on the sidelines, but he's had half an hour's break now.
And another one player for St Kilda, Jones, looks very sore as well.
Boak. Hand passes to the defensive 50. Del Santo held a while. The ball just trickles out of bounds. What a finish.
It's a great finish for St Kilda. So much to play for.
Farmer cramping.
Yeah, wants to come off, I think, indicating to the bench. Roden That's the difference, I think, between SANFL and this standard of football. It's hectic now. Stakes are high. Loney gave it to Surgeon. Surgeon, little chip outside the defensive 50. Revolt didn't look back. Logan did. Cassisi comes across the ground 3-on-1 with a decision to make. Goddard peeled off, did brilliantly. Goddard beat 3 of them, hooks it across the body inside the 50 from the boot of Carlisle. It ricochets out of bounds. Ricky Loren-Shaw.
Well, these boys are really feeling the pinch now. Jones, as Tim mentioned, he's just got cramp, as did Paul Stewart. He had to come to the bench as well for treatment, so the boys now running on a treadmill.
Kilda was so lucky. Kane Corns had slipped out the back. He was on his own by about 50 metres, but Port just couldn't get the ball to him.
Lower kicks it out of bounds.
Yeah, Graham just came off too for St Kilda. Gwilt came back on. Gwilt's had a very good game.
He's been very good since half-time, Gwilt.
In the centre circle, yeah. So he's gone on to Westhoff, so more of a match-up there than playing around the footy.
In front, Blake wins it decisively. Roden's got it. He got it from Surgeon, looking to find a way through and did brilliantly. Now needs to kick it. He does, beyond the wing. Brogan's in front, reaching over the top there and playing it very well was Goddard. Montagna, McWalter under pressure. Nicely done. Fisher's got it right half back.
He had to keep his composure there, McWalter.
He did that well.
Fisher, Fiora, he'll cut away on his left. Bad kick. Logan wasn't looking. Ball was 70 metres out. Kicks it long down towards full forward. Revolt! Revolt with a classic.
When you need someone to step up and be the man, why wouldn't it be the captain? He's made his name taking marks like this. He's been pretty quiet all afternoon.
I think that's a 9.5 out of 10 for courage, that one.
You got no right going for that ball, have you really?
No, you don't.
That is supreme courage.
What does it take to get a 10?
I'll come back to that. This is an important kick. Revolt comes in and kicks the goal. That might be enough.
Gee, it was good play by Goddard earlier on, though. Just to keep that ball. He was 1-on-3. And Aaron Fiora got away with it here.
Well, Logan wasn't looking at the ball there. Obviously, Ball was actually watching the ball, and he's been pretty good in this last quarter too, Luke Ball.
That is courageous, just to go back like that. No regard for your well-being.
It's sort of like it's a classic Wayne Carey type mark, isn't it? Back with a Paul Vanderhart type mark. Show my age now.
Shades of that mark he took at the SCG, running with the flight.
So if that's a 9 out of 10, 9.5 out of 10 was it, Dennis?
9.5, that one, yes.
What is a 10 out of 10?
Well, there's only been one 10 in history. Whoever it was who ate the first raw oyster. Here's a chance for Roden, spinning out of trouble, in trouble, got a nice hand pass forward. Bentley is through. And he's missed.
He's been okay this afternoon too. Bentley's shown a bit.
Yeah, well, he could have shown a lot more if he had to kick that, because it would have brought it back to within a couple of points.
How difficult is it to tackle Roden?
He's great centre of gravity, very low centre of gravity, and just when you think you've got him, he does a blind turn and a pivot and a swivel and a shake of the hips, and he's gone.
So much body to get your arms around. McWalter, Goddard, 7 points the difference. Goddard runs from half back.
Good running.
Lovely kick too. Hayes with a bit of a limp.
Not bad with the sore hamstring.
The cream rising to the top for St Kilda at the moment. Harvey back on. Hayes back on, and Revolt, that terrific mark. Can he do it again? Out of position here. Knocked across the line by Carlisle.
Carlisle's actually done pretty well, Dennis, in terms of the one-on-one battles with Revolt, even though, I mean, the supply to Revolt hasn't been terrific, but you can only judge him on the one-on-one contest. He's been good.
Blake, long down towards full forward, coming over the top, getting a fist on it. Burgoyne gets it out of bounds. Good result for Port.
Doesn't mean Stevie Milne's day either. Everywhere the ball's gone, he ain't been there.
Lowell's been good.
Yep.
Tossed in. DeLuca opens things up. That was a dangerous place to put it. Loney, they've rolled the dice and they've won, at least in the short term. Logan to midfield. Wonderful mark. Goddard. Body to body. It could be 50. Probably should have been 50. Nothing doing. Goddard upended as he kicks towards half forward. In front, Dempster reaching over the top. Surgeon knocking towards the boundary line. Stewart held without it. The crowd will not like this.
They'll jump the fence.
Surgeon moments ago could have given away a free kick, climbing over that man in front.
Still plenty of time. There's still 5 minutes of football.
Yep. Corns. Man getting space, just pushing up the ground. West off. Runners alongside. This has been the problem for Port. They've stopped running. Wonderful stuff by Gwilt. Threw himself across the boot. Now pushing the back on Jones by Loney. Surgeon thought he was through. Gwilt had other ideas. Watch this.
He's had a very good afternoon, Gwilt.
Eddie.
Missed Blake too.
Penetrating kick, Eddie inside the forward 50. Saints have got 3 on 2. Brogan played it very well.
They're loose here.
Boak, little chip. Logan's got it. That's got to be 50. Oh, umpire.
Very lucky.
Logan to half forward. Westhoff and Gwilt. Has Gwilt got something left? Westhoff back towards the corridor. Jones straight to Westhoff. Westhoff, Motlop, one-on-one battling with Fisher. Well, he tried to improvise there and back heel on the bounce. He missed it. It's forced through for a behind. Has never seen a situation he hasn't liked to produce a goal.
It's an important... Look at this. He just tries to do the old flickaroo.
There's never a time when he thinks he can't score a goal.
Got the loose play here, St Kilda.
Fisher on the outer side. Drives to McWalter. Runs forward of the wing. Sees Blake on the lead. Hand passes to the overlap from Dempster. Long kick downwards, full forward. Going back. Farmer back on the ground. Punches it through for a behind. Fancies himself the young man. Clutches the ball. First gamer. Kicks it straight in. No hesitation. Bentley's got it. Bentley spots Brogan. Closing. Ball did well. Knocked it down. Graham got a hand pass. Revolt. Met solidly by Bentley. Down he went. Immediately set upon by 3 players. One of his own will have a bounce.
Yeah, it was a good hit here, but it should have been a tackle.
3.5 minutes to go, Ox.
Eddie's free here.
Getting through. Bentley will almost. Was he holding the ball? I would have thought so. Took them on. Held to him, says the umpire.
What Port need to do now, and St Kilda should probably drop a number back, but just clear it out.
I reckon Port have got the desire, but they just don't have the legs at the moment. They're getting the break in the midfield, but they just can't run and carry the ball.
Blake did well. Knocked it down. Dempster gave it to McWalter. Harvey, hand pass to his own advantage. Went to ground. Dempster looking for Fiora on his wrong leg momentarily. Montagna across the ground. Milne's got it. He's 75 metres out, Milne. Long kick, a beautiful kick. Wonderful courage. Burgoyne going back. That hurt. Graham goes in. And what's he done? Wait on the official. It's a goal.
You talk about courage, and we've already seen the mark of Nick Revolt in this last quarter. That's a great finish. But just watch this. Watch this Luke Ball. Just going back with the fly of the ball there. Bang! Kazitsky comes the opposite direction. He's absolutely poleaxed. There he is sitting up, but he's really hurt himself. And that's Graham just picks it up. It's a pretty simple kick in the end. But that was just a spectacular collision. We see Luke Ball there. He has injured himself. He's going to come off the ground.
Saints by 13 points, Rick.
Boys, I have a suspicion that Luke Ball might have torn his hamstring in that incident. You see when he went for the mark, when he landed on his back, you see his hamstring almost hit his nose. His knee almost hit his nose and would have overstretched his hamstring. So there might be a chance he's really torn that hamstring badly.
Well, a few players have too much courage for their own good. He's one of them.
Well, no doubt. But his effort there gets St Kilda 4 points and possibly gets him into a final series.
So that might be a really serious one, though.
Yeah, it could be minus Luke Ball. Burgoyne, who was involved in that pack moments ago, kicks a goal.
Free kick.
Is it a goal? Oh, well played in.
It's a goal to Port. It was going against Fisher. Margin back to 7, 2.5 minutes to go.
Well, just exactly what they needed. They needed a very quick clearance. They needed a goal. It took all of 13 seconds. Really good tap there by Brogan. came through, and Burgoyne was on the move. Slotted that with ease too. That's what happens when you retire from footy.
Is that Fraser?
It will be in a few years.
100 plays, 93, 2.5 minutes to go. Ricky Olorenshaw.
We can just see Luke Ball there getting his left hamstring assessed. It could be a serious one. Could be 4 to 6 weeks if it's a real bad one, but it's hard to say at the moment.
Could it be cramp, Rick?
I don't think so. You just see the incident where his leg got overstretched, so I definitely think it's a tear.
Burgoyne again digs it out of the middle. Ebert goes after the football, socket away by Graham. Coming across on the angle, Bentley had it a long time. Graham got him down, slapped out of there. Corns goes after the football, and the umpire lets them go. Time ticks away, eventually calls for it.
Everyone dragged in, mate. No clear person.
Well, still 2 minutes of play left. There is plenty of time for either side.
Brogan slaps it back towards the corridor. Logan sockers it forward, taken by Carlisle, who's gone forward. Well, Corns missed the football. Coming through Pettigrew, he's got it, wishes he hadn't. And the umpire will bounce it again. Clock stops at 1:53.
Well, they've been fantastic this afternoon, Port Adelaide. This is a great tackle here. Just a desperate lunge there by Del Santo. Pushed Kane Corns off the ball.
One of the best games we've seen in a long time, I'd suggest, this one. Fanatical, both sides here. Bearing in mind one is hoping to make the finals, the other simply standing on its record. Runners up last year, in trouble this season, but a very proud club.
34 players around the ball here.
There's the bounce. West off the big leap. Taken by Gilbert, did nicely. Del Santo, clever. Milne will hold it up at left half back.
It's called play on. The umpire hasn't called a mark.
Well, there you go. Long kick. The players self-umpiring out there. They all stop.
He's been impressive.
Yeah, no, they've had some impressive players today.
Farmer. Salter lost to the game at halftime. He was terrific early. Revolt back in defence. Towering mark. How important is that? To Milne. Milne comes very wide. Harvey, it needs to stay in for him. He's lost it. Harvey's in trouble. He almost threw that one away. Motlop met solidly. Well worked. Dempster created a path for Goddard. Drives it up the wing. Coming back hard there was Surgeon. Could have almost been a free to Eddie. Doesn't matter. Kaczynski kicks inside the forward 50. Schneider to Graham. Graham, who's played well. This would be fitting, but he's wide of the mark. Behind. But I think they've done enough. We're down to 34. 101 plays 93.
Motlop there just wasn't hard enough. Needed to be stronger.
Well, you know what you're getting. Half back, Boak played a wonderful game. To half forward, Carlisle takes a clever mark. Played on very quickly to Corns. Blake tried to get through. Fisher, we're down to 15 seconds. Dempster, well, give it an Irish whip. He just kept going. Graham kicks it towards half forward. Schneider, 8 seconds, it's all over.
Been good
the
in the last
Saints,
quarter,
yeah, they trail by 13 and they'll win by 8. Stand by for the siren. A nail biter at the Dome, but finally St Kilda stay very much in the finals hunt. Hard-fought victory, 14-17 to 14-9 on Sunday footy. Well, that was a terrific game of footy.
It was for a young, inexperienced side that Port Adelaide had out there. They gave 100% and pushed a side that's probably going to play finals all the way to the line, and it took some very special efforts for St Kilda to get the points. And Luke Ball, just looking at him there, one of his efforts may have got them the 4 points, but probably has cost him maybe the rest of the year.
Umpires copping a bit as they come off. Well, cometh the hour, cometh the man. Nick Revolt, what a timely mark. Initially on the forward line, then in defence, he's talking with Ricky Olorenshaw.
Yeah, that's right. He does it at both ends of the ground. Mate, tough day in the office today, but you just never know what Port are going to dish up, do you?
Yeah, Yeah, it's the nature of the competition, really. We never gave up today. That's a few times this year that we've come from behind and won, and we can take real confidence from that.
It looked like when Robert Harvey went down is when you guys decided to pull your finger out and lift.
Well, he's been doing it for the club for 21 years, so it was the least we could do.
It's so important to win today too, wasn't it? It keeps your finals chances alive.
Yeah, absolutely, and especially after last week, we were keen to just make that an aberration last week, and with our effort, I thought we can, we were pretty good all day.
All right, well done, mate. Tough.
As we told you, the Bulldogs winners today. And with this victory, I would imagine St Kilda have jumped as high as 7th on the premiership table. Percentage just over the 100. That's doing it on the fly. 14-17 to 14-9. Let's go down once again to Ricky Olorenshaw with Lee Montagna.
Well, Lee really got challenged today, but finally got over the line at the end.
Yeah, look, it was a great effort by the boys. Port Adelaide had a real crack today, and we knew they would. We just had to stick to our guns and a real get gutsy effort, and it was great to get away for a win.
What do you think changed the momentum of the game?
Oh, look, I think we were going okay in the first half. We just weren't using the ball well enough. They were dropping numbers back, and we just weren't quite smart enough going inside 50. Once we tidied that up, started using it better, we started kicking some more goals.
You've got a pretty challenging month coming up too, just to secure that spot in the 8.
Yeah, look, it's going to be a tough month. We know that, every week's going to be interesting, and we've just got to try and do what we can to win each game and see where that puts us end of the season.
Right, well done today, mate. Well done.
Thank you.
Well, they paid a price today.
And Dennis, I know you worry about next week, maybe tomorrow, but that's going to be a grave concern for everybody at St Kilda at the moment. I mean, he's hyperextended his hamstring. Now have a look at this. I mean, his leg just goes right over. That is a violent action on his hamstring, and that's a bad tear. He couldn't even walk the distance from the sidelines back into the change rooms, and I would suspect that it's a 4 to 6 week hamstring strain, injury, tear, we'll call it what you like, and let's just hope that it actually hasn't torn off the bone as well.
And just looking at his numbers this afternoon, he worked as hard as anyone out there. He had 14 tackles, 8 contested footies. In 16 of his possessions. That is an outstanding afternoon's work.
St Kilda win 14-17 to 14-9 on Sunday footy.